My wife called me a child for buying a Costco box of Uncrustables to prep for the storm. Come to find out she's never had one. How do I proceed?
Divorce. Get a new wife.
You
Bad scouting. Did you even interview her at the NFL Combine?
Convert.
Did you even do a private visit before you got married?
Welcome to the opening bell, the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. Trevor, Sikkema, Connor Rogers here with you guys for, Connor, what is one of the most anticipated episodes that we do every single year, and that is the two-round post-Senior Bowl mock draft. We got not 32 picks, but 64 picks that we are going to be going through here today. So no excuses for the people that are like, hey, you don't get to my team. They're picking in the second round. We're getting to them today. We're giving you all sorts of Senior Bowl analysis, updated analysis from our player rankings that we've been doing over the last month and a half. So it's going to be a good check-in for the entire draft class as we see and how it's going to shape out. Connor, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. As Rick and Morty fan in the chat said, I'm lubed up and ready to go. This show has become a bit of a tradition for us on Senior Bowl week Friday because, you know, everybody does the winners and losers, and you and I just did that on Wednesday with the day one guys. Some, you know, obviously more happened on practices 2 and 3. But this is a nice way to kind of bring in the audience that cares about the big picture. You're going to get Senior Bowl talk. It kind of covers all ground, and it's always good when you and I get to dust off the old two-round mock draft instead of the first round. Pump up those numbers. Those are rookie numbers.
Correct, yes. I think that you're going to see a lot of people out there with their post-Senior Bowl mock drafts, but here on the NFL Stock Exchange show, just always know, we got you. We're taking it to another level. We're giving you two rounds because, to be honest with you, and this is like an easy way to sort of transition getting into the mock draft here, like there are some Senior Bowl players that we'll talk about probably in maybe the mid, but more like back end of the first round. But the second round is where we really get to start to talk about a lot of these guys that had really good weeks down in Mobile, the guys that really raised their stock, the true risers this week. And so that's why I like to extend it a little bit and get into that second round, just like you do around this time of year. So a couple of things. First of all, this is a really long episode. Like, it's going to be a 2-hour episode. It always is. So we see the super chats for you guys already. We know that we normally leave those to the end of the show because of how long the episode is. When we see super chats that are sort of topical throughout the show, we'll try to hit them. But we're not going to read super chats at the end of the show. It's not because we don't love you guys and we're scared to compete and read the super chats. We'll save them, and then we'll probably end up recording answering those at a different time, which we'll put into, you know, a Friday episode that'll probably be coming next week. And then 2, Connor, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew before we start this exercise, this is more of a what we think will happen kind of a mock draft. Like, this is the time of year where we turn the page a little bit. You get to talk to some people that are very close to these teams, and you're seeing a little bit more of like, okay, these are going to be the scheme preferences. These are going to be the position preferences, all of that stuff. So there's going to be a little bit of certainly what we think about these players, but we're approaching it a little bit more from a predictive mindset getting to this point of the year in the draft process.
It's a good time of the year to kind of sit back and look at, okay, which players are going to go earlier than people are realizing. And then there's also going to be some players that, hey, we haven't talked about this guy falling into the 20s or even into the top of round 2 before, but this is a scenario where it could happen. That's why, besides the fact that it pays the bills, that's one of the reasons that we do a lot of these. Because by the time you get to the draft, you've hopefully seen 80% of the crazy scenarios that it can happen on draft day. It's why we bring in guest mock drafters, because they have different mindsets than the chamber that you and I have been in for a really, really long time. And this is kind of, in a way, the beginning of it all.
Yes, it absolutely is. And again, before we kick this off, I just want to say thank you to everybody that came up to myself and Tyler in Mobile to come up and tell us that they were big fans of the show. It was so cool getting to meet so many of you. That event specifically, where a lot of people who might be just starting out, there were a lot of you who were like, oh man, like I just started a podcast or I just started covering the draft. You guys were a big inspiration. It's cool. And Connor, like I said on Wednesday, you were well represented because anytime that happened, the chef was there with a cooler that he had strapped to his body saying, hey, you know what? Thank you for being a fan. Connor wanted you to have this, and he was handing out Uncrustables to people that were telling us they were addicts of the show. So shout out to everybody that we had the chance to meet. We always love talking with you guys and meeting you guys. So that's a really cool part of that event for us as well.
It's good to see him basically become a legend. Not an urban myth because he is real, but I saw one like Sasquatch-esque pic of him on the field in his jersey, but you couldn't see his face. So you weren't 100% sure it was him, but he had the jersey on and it says the chef. So I'm just really glad we could lean into this. And he's the man behind the glass on our show. Yeah. It's all perfect.
Mr. Gunny said, news from the Discord, the NFL SC Discord. The chef is 6'5", 255 pounds, absolutely yoked. And yeah, for the people that saw him on the sidelines, that's absolutely true. And then D. Sauter said, is Trev shorter in person? Okay, all right, okay.
The height accusations against you,
no, it's unbelievable.
They've gone too far. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say it. I've told people I'll never leave this chair on the show. Because if I'm not twice the size of my helmet shelf behind me, people are going to be calling me Diego Pavia Jr.
Yeah.
Or probably worse.
Yeah. So. Pint-sized Pavia even.
Right. Like a miniature Pavia.
Can't be doing that.
No, I won't have it.
Let's jump into it. Let's get right into the mock draft here because we know that this is going to be a long show and we got a lot of analysis to give you guys here. Obviously, the beautiful PFF mock draft simulator.
Which never looks better.
Which, by the way, guys, I've taken the time over the last couple of days to add a lot of the names that were at the Senior Bowl, that were playing well, that were standing out in practices, that were not in there. Quintavious Hutchins, the defensive end from Boston College, I added him. Cyrus Allen, the wide receiver from Cincinnati. Tyron Montgomery, the John Carroll University wide receiver. He is now in the MDS as well. So it is updated. I think the order is updated as well. A lot of the names that were already in there that I feel like are stock up players overall, we're moving up and down. So that MDS is updated. You guys can run as many mock drafts you want when you have that PFF Plus subscription. Tyler's already got it loaded up. He's got 2 rounds selected here. So let's enter the draft. And Connor, it's tradition for me to give you the choice.
Are you okay with that, though? Do you ever get sick of it where you're like, I want to pick?
Well, it's funny that you say that. Because I am going to pick number 1 overall here.
Great.
Because I want you to pick number 2.
And I do want to pick number 2. I'm not going to lie.
The draft starts at 2. This one's easy. This is Fernando Mendoza going number 1 overall to the Las Vegas Raiders. There's barely going to be any talk about it outside of when we get into, like the hype machine and all the highlights for him once we get to that week of the draft, because it's just a no-brainer. Heisman Trophy winner, somebody who we talked about this on the quarterback show. I think he's very worthy of the number 1 overall pick in this class. I don't think it really should be a debate. I'm excited about him as an NFL quarterback. I think he's got a ton of starting NFL caliber ability. So this is a no-brainer with him at number 1, but that puts you on the clock. And I think this is the first mock draft that we have done since Dante Moore officially went back to Oregon. So the floor is yours.
So no pressure.
It is a lot of pressure.
It felt a lot easier when Moore was in this draft, especially in a predictive mock draft. So what I'm going to say right off the top is I think if there was a betting board for the Jets picking number 2 today, and it is wildly early, I think the favorite would be Arvell Reese. I think you're going to see that in a lot of places. I think that you and I have discussed, it seems like there are teams projecting Reese to have a similar transition that Jalen Walker had, where Reese played a lot of off-ball linebacker for Ohio State, but there's a world where, and I've been watching linebacker tape a lot recently because that's a show that we have it planned at some point we want to do. He's got really powerful hands to play as a stand-up edge player, like to set an edge, to take on tackles and pullers. So maybe that's the plan for him, and that's a guy that's worthy of being the number 2 selection. You hope he evolves as a pass rusher. I am going to take David Bailey here. And yes, it is partially predictive.
You just pulled a me. Hold on. You just pulled a me. You just pulled a me.
I did the whole thing, and then I take someone totally different. Totally different. It's the best move in the history of sports entertainment.
I I was floored. I was literally about to ask you a follow-up about Arvell Reese, and I was already ready for it. That's incredible. That's incredible.
And the point being, besides how much I love David Bailey and how an impactful of a player and a prospect he is in this draft, is that I think he is absolutely in play at number 2. Him, Ruben Bain, Arvell Reese, some might even say Caleb Downs. But Bailey is excellent at getting off the ball and rushing the passer, creating chaos. I do think the steps he took as a run defender, notably down the stretch of the season, are really, really going to help teams be comfortable with him as a top 5 pick. He's tough. He can be rugged. He's got a lot of counters to work the inside. You see the pass rush win rate in 2025. It was also great at a different program in Stanford in 2024. So he's done it at 2 places already. I think David Bailey's a stud. I think it's easy, not easy because this is never easy to do, but there's a world where you project him as a double-digit sack guy down the road. And I think the Jets have to get a game-wrecking presence at number 2 overall, as there's no quarterback to take. So David Bailey at number 2.
Okay, David Bailey at number 2. I know this is your guy. When we went through the edge rusher episode, you expounded even further upon kind of what you just said there. People in the comments are saying Connor, Trevor, Sikkema, Rogers because of the...
Tell the streets. So I do see some people in the chat. Do you think Bailey at 2 is crazy? Because I'm getting this... From the limited combos I've already had about 2 and just watching him, in this draft, I don't think it's crazy at all. I think he's not the favorite to go number 2. I don't think it's crazy.
I would pretty clearly take Ruben Bain over him. But we went through the edge rush episode where we kind of I kind of walked through my concerns with Bailey a little bit more and sort of focusing a little bit more on where his game is deficient. But sort of what you're talking about, like if you want a player in this class who could potentially be like a 15 sack guy for you, I mean, David Bailey has the trump card of all trump cards. Like, he has that first step explosiveness that is very rare. You don't even have to say the words in this class. Like, I recognize that. David Bailey's going to have one of the best first steps in the NFL the second that he gets drafted. So having that sort of ability it's alluring, and I think that a lot of teams are going to be in on it. Again, I would be taking Ruben Bain here at number 2 if we were going with more of an edge rusher and we weren't, thinking about like Arvell Reese or something like that. But from a pure pass rush perspective and how much of a disruptor he could be and how he get in the backfield, I do think that there are going to be teams that have David Bailey over Ruben Bain. So yes, in that sense, I don't think you're crazy since we're doing a little bit more of a predictive mock draft here at number 2.
All right, which puts you back on the board for Arizona at 3, which is a super interesting spot.
This is a really tough spot for Arizona. I would love for them to take an offensive lineman. And I'm kind of going to sort of just walk through my thoughts here. And so I might pull a me on me when we get down to it, but if I'm going to take any offensive lineman, I'm actually probably going to take Francis Mauigoa. I don't want to spoil the offensive tackle episode that we're going to do at some point too much, but I worry a little bit about Spencer Fano's ability to anchor consistently at the next level. And he's right around 300, 305 pounds right now. Maybe you could pack a little bit more weight on him, but I don't think that's a guarantee because you're starting to see him, carry some weight around the midsection. No fat shaming or anything here. It's just when you talk about, guys putting on some extra weight, if they're already putting weight around the midsection, it's kind of harder to envision like, okay, well, if we put more weight on him, he's going to be able to, put it more in his legs or in his butt or his, or his upper back, like whatever it is, the parts of your body that you're really conjuring strength from. So I think just from that perspective, I think Mauigoa is more solid. I think that he is somebody who, I don't think he's Tristan Wirfs. I don't think he's Penei Sewell, but I do think he's a 2-contract type of a starter for you. And in the offensive line, that's incredibly valuable. So that is where my mind goes first, but I don't have Francis Mauigoa next on my board. He's not the next guy that we're thinking about here. I think I might just go Arvell Reese.
And just go with what's deemed as one of the best players in the entire draft.
Because I like Bain more, but I think I think they're better along the defensive line, and I feel as though linebacker specifically, let me make sure I'm remembering this correctly.
I think you're on the right path with the bigger ends they've taken over the years and what they have.
Because they do, I mean, they have Walter Nolan. Obviously, they're a little bit older in the trenches next to him with Campbell and Dalvin Tomlinson, but they have Darius Robinson as well. They have Josh Sweat. They've got B.J. Ojulari. They drafted Jordan Birch as well. And then at linebacker, it's Mac Wilson and it's Akeem Davis-Gaither. They have Cody Simon as well, but I think I'm just going to take Arvell Reese. I view Arvell Reese as like an Edgerrin Cooper type of a linebacker, where he is just a heat-seeking missile and somebody who is just a seek and destroy type of a player. That overall athleticism, I think, is going to be coveted. So I'm actually going to take Reese for the Cardinals here to just be hopefully an elite second-level defender for them.
You know what's wild here, and you were the first person that was really, really on this back in September or October when you took Sonny Styles to the Rams at 10. Like, there's a world where Sonny Styles goes third overall because of everything you just said. I'm not saying it's likely. It's not likely, but all the reasons you just said, Sonny Styles going way earlier than anybody could, even 10, feels like it's now on the table. But I think you went down the right path. I would have gone with Reese as well for Arizona, and you get the versatility, which brings me to Robert Saleh's Tennessee Titans.
You know him well. You know him very well.
Yeah, know this defense well, know their tendencies well. Now, different GM, of course. This is a tricky one, right? Because they got to get Cam Ward help, and they need to be really careful. Now, they have a ton of cap space that they're going to be able to spend to get him some help. They're also going to be able to add to the defense. They've invested a lot in this offensive line over the years. That's how Dan Moore became one of the richest Dan Moores on the planet.
Yeah.
The question here is, Trevor, like, do they just put arm length aside and say Ruben Bain wreaks havoc up front? He can play in Saleh's attacking fronts. Now, remember, I believe it was as soon as Saleh got there, the Jets backed up the Brinks truck for Carl Lawson. Mm-hmm. Carl Lawson, at his peak of his powers, rushes like Ruben Bain does. Mm-hmm. That was the plan.
Yeah.
That was the plan for Saleh when he got to New York. It was like, spend all the money on Carl Lawson. I need pass rushers. I need guys that convert speed to power, can be tough against the run. It's not history repeating itself because they're not the same exact player, but there are similarities there where, hey, if my defense is going to go and I'm going to be calling the plays, unlike my last time as head coach, I need some absolute horses up front. I'm going to take a guy that put out dominant tape for a team that made it to the national title game. Let's get Ruben Bain. I'm going to spend money on offense. We have other picks to spend on offense, but I got to get one of the best game records in this draft at 4.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I would be going with Ruben Bain here as well for the reasons that you mentioned. Plus, he's a one-on-one winner, which Robert Saleh needs in the front that he wants to put out there. So I think that he makes sense for the Titans in that regard. I've talked about this before. I think the number one overall goal for the Titans this offseason is to figure out what their offensive line is. Like, determine what J.C. Latham is at this point. Is he your tackle? Is he your guard? And go throughout free agency in the draft, making sure your offensive line is as good as it can be. But are you taking a tackle here at 4, especially when Ruben Bain Jr. is looking at you? I don't think that you are. I think that you're just taking the talent at that point, especially for a defensive-minded head coach. So I think they've got to address offensive line and figure that out, but I would be picking Ruben Bain here as well. Somebody in the chat said, is this a sneaky Jeremiah Love spot? I do think that they need linebacker, but again, I think they're going trenches at 4. I really just think it's going to be trenches one way or the other at 4.
Yeah, I think so too. They can continue to roll with what they have at running back. They can get one later. There's a lot in free agency. No, I think Tennessee, you know, you could start the conversation about wide receiver here, of course. But no, for me, get Bain and elevate Saleh's defense, which is his calling card.
All right, so you went Ruben Bain there at 5 or at 4. Now I got the New York Giants up at number 5.
There's a lot you could do with this pick.
There's a lot that we can do with this pick. I think we'll know a lot more about what the offensive line need might be in a couple of weeks once we get kind of through free agency and seeing how they operate with their offensive line, any changes that they might make there. Obviously, the wide receiver spot with Wan'Dale Robertson being a free agent new coaching staff. So who knows if they're going to prioritize a player like that to a second contract, even though they weren't the coaching staff that drafted him and developed him. Caleb Downs, I think, is very interesting here at 5 because you just think of the player that Kyle Hamilton was with the Ravens under Harbaugh and him knowing how valuable a versatile player like that is. I'm not saying that Caleb Downs is, exactly like Kyle Hamilton because I think they're built a little bit different, but they are players who could really change things for you on the back end. And I am more of a believer if you can get wide receiver help later. I don't know if you could get a player who I feel like Antoine Winfield Jr. is a really good comp for Caleb Downs and just how versatile he is, the body type, the overall athleticism, all the things that he could do. Downs' range is just so wide, though. Like I talked to a lot of people in Mobile this week who think he's going later than was previously projected of him, like being a for sure like top 5, top 8 overall pick. I talked to a lot of people who feel as though he's going later than that, or at least certainly could go later than that.
Well, the reason being that I've heard going back to the end of the season is that he won't test like an elite
correct
testing safety.
Right.
He's not gonna It's not gonna be poor or anything, but the cards are already like the deck is already stacked against you as a safety to go in the top 5. But then if you're not a 90th percentile or higher tester, is that even harder of a sell? So that's probably why. He's going to be a top 5 player for me in this draft, though.
I think so, too. But you're right. Like, if he ends up running in the 4.5s in the 40-yard dash, and he's, if he tests like a good athlete and not a great athlete, then you're just going to hear a lot of like, well, okay, well, he's not the athlete that Kyle Hamilton was. He's not a Derwin James type of a player. I was talking a little bit with a friend of the show, Lance Zierlein, about that as well when we were on the field just chatting about some players, and he was talking about Caleb Downs a little bit, and he wondered, if he doesn't test incredibly well, is the NFL really going to view him as a safety, even like maybe those other guys would have been? And those guys even fell to the middle of the first round like we were talking before. But ultimately,
say,
yes.
On the field with Lance Zierlein is the nicest subtle flex we've had in a while on this show. It's like, that's a good one.
Lance is the man. Lance has been covering the draft for so long, and being in real life friends with Lance Zierlein is really cool because I read his work for years, and
he's such a down to earth dude.
He is. He's the man, and it's just always very cool to pick his brain and get to chat with him. So a little bit of a flex, but I also wanted to give the good people some information there. Connor, I think I am going to continue to land on wide receiver for them, though. I just think that Jordan Tyson is so damn talented. I just think that he is so damn talented. And you get to the point where you have a fully healthy Malik Neighbors, you have a fully healthy, hopefully, Jordan Tyson, you've got Cam Scatterbo, you have Jackson Dart.
Ooh, baby. Cooking.
Let's go Jordan Tyson here. I'm going to stick with Jordan Tyson. I kind of, again, thought about Caleb Downs a little bit there, maybe offensive line if the free agency portion of the offseason goes that way for them. But I am going to stick with Jordan Tyson here at 5.
The Browns at 6. New head coach Todd Monken, to the surprise of some. I love Todd Monken's energy. I was watching the videos of him with Shador, and he's been a favorite of ours on this show, as much as it seems like the NFL world is like, they hired who and what? I'm rooting for Todd Monken getting his chance as an NFL head coach this late in his coaching life. So the Browns here, what's a theme you and I have talked about with the Browns for how long, Trevor? That they got to
moving costs?
Well, that's always nice, especially when you play in the state of Ohio. They got to start building this offensive line again.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, do you go with the chalk pick and we've done this already. You just take Carnell Tate here and get a number 1 wide receiver. And I have no problem running back the chalk. The question I'll pose to you is there a world where, hey, we have so many spots to build on this offensive line, do we start to talk about somebody like Mauigoa, who is probably regarded as the top O-line talent currently in this draft?
I think this is, yeah. I think Maui Noa is certainly in the conversation here. You're gonna have teams that, whether it's the flashiest offensive line class or not. Like I think Maui Noa is just gonna be rock solid in the league. I
Yep.
think that he's going to be a really good offensive tackle. I don't know if he'll be a great offensive tackle, but I just don't know if he's kind of like physically built that way. But I think he'll be really good for you. And again, I think he's a 2-contract starting offensive tackle for you. And you can't just say that lightly. You can't be like, man,
No.
he's just going to be a 2-contract starting offensive tackle for you. I mean, you can't say it with that inflection and that purpose there. I think that it's got to have a lot more conviction to it. So yes, I would think about Maui Noa here for the Browns at 6.
That's where I'm going to go. Well, I'm sure we'll have many conversations going forward about Carnell Tate here again. I've done that before. I don't mind that at all for the Browns, but I also like Maui Noa enough to take him here and get this offensive line in the right place for Cleveland.
Okay, so for Washington, I would love to get them a pass rusher, but I think the next one would be Cassius Howell. Yes.
Out of like the finesse rushers and then Falk as the power edges.
Yeah, I wouldn't be taking Falk
No,
here.
no.
He doesn't make sense for them. And so then I think about, okay, what about defensive back? There's a world where I think Mansour Delane's the pick here. It kind of depends on what they really believe of Trey Amos. Do they think that Trey Amos can be an outside CB1 for them? Or do they think more of, hey, we've got a really good CB2, and then you could play Sam Still as a more constant presence as a nickel? I don't know if they're going to be interested in Caleb Downs as much as maybe we think, just from a safety perspective, because remember the guys that that Dan Quinn has kind of gone after and used at that versatile safety spot. What was the safety in Dallas? Curse? Jerome Curse?
Safety in Dallas.
Is that the right name? I'm saying the right name?
I think you're going down the right path. When Quinn was DC,
When he was their DC there.
well, I feel like
Jaron
they
Curse-
still
Jaron, I'm
had
saying the
Malik
right name?
Hooker, but that's not who you're thinking of.
No, that's not who I'm saying.
Yeah, Jaron Curse. You're right.
Yes. So he's like the bigger, longer safety type of a player who could play in the box. He could play safety for you. And then look at the guys that they drafted. I think it was in his first draft when he was the head coach there. It was Tyler Owens, that crazy alien build safety who tested super well from Oklahoma State. And it was Dominic Hampton as well, who was sort of the same build at that safety spot. Like, they've been trying to get that sort of guy. They've gone for the Kyle Hamilton type of an archetype, but also with the Kyle Hamilton type of a build. So maybe Caleb Downs is just good enough to where you go, okay, no, it doesn't matter if he's not built like those guys. We want that type of a safety. Perhaps that's the case. But they also need a linebacker, and that's also where my mind goes. So the 3 players I have on the board for them here that I think that they will consider if it falls this way: Caleb Downs, like I mentioned, but maybe not. Sonny Styles, who I think is an excellent guy to get in there next to Frankie Louvu. I don't think Bobby Wagner's officially retired, but man, Bobby Wagner's obviously getting up there in age. Or a Mansour Delane. I think I'd go Sonny Styles.
That's where I'm glad you did it.
I think I'm going Sonny Styles here.
They're old at linebacker right now. In this scheme, it's so important to be able to have range. The former safety in Styles, he's got the range.
Yeah.
This is like, it's really a good fit across
I think
the
they're
board.
going to love him. Let's go Sonny Styles. Sonny Styles is a linebacker from Ohio State. I think he can do a lot of things for you. I think if you watch his tape this year, it's a lot more of triggering downhill. It's a lot more of an attacking style, but I think his former safety background shows you those movement skills that he has as well. Having him drop back a little bit more into coverage, I think that that's something that's well within his wheelhouse to do more of than he did at Ohio State, who was really just having him, again, just constantly attacking downhill. But he was one of the best in all of college football at exactly that. And I think that how rock solid he was in the middle is what gave them the freedom to use Arvell Reese the way that they did throughout the season as well. So I don't think that should be an underrated point either. You're up with the Saints now at number 8.
All right, the Saints at 8. They could add more talent up front on the defensive side of the ball. They can get Tyler Shuck another weapon across from Chris Olave.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Which is
Interesting.
which is the road I'm going to go down here. I'm going to take Carnell Tate in this spot. And
somebody in the chat just said the new Michael Thomas for them.
There you go. Marquise Colston. Let's just keep
Slant
turning back
Boy
the clock.
2.0, as Carlton Davis would say.
Oh.
Sorry, Saints fans. I'm sorry. That was the Buccaneer in me that was coming out a little bit.
This is now you have someone in Olave that gets vertical and is super precise. You have someone in Carnell Tate who could be physical, but also his route running took a really, really big step forward this year. And now you have Tyler Shuck, who looked really, really good when he got his chance this year with more than viable number 1 and number 2 wide receiver, a pass-catching tight end, Juwan Johnson. Let's see if we could add somebody to that running back room, whether it's in free agency or later on in the draft. And, of course, Jeremiah Love was there, but I just think that it's a little it's hard to say because Love will be one of the best players in the draft for me. Mm-hmm. It was just a little rich for the Saints in this spot. I think there's other avenues for them to solve running back and still get a high-end number 2 receiver instead.
Everybody in the chat now, of course, because Jeremiah Love is still available for the Chiefs, is begging me not
save us
to pick him for the Chiefs, which I do think is funny that everyone is screaming that, and then Peter in the chat saying, take Love to the Chiefs.
Hey, here's an idea for you, Squirt.
Yeah, have you guys ever thought about this? What about Jeremiah Love?
The squirrel with the
Kansas
can of
City
Coors Light and Zin tin, it just kills me every time Peter's he comes up. Because I think it's like an original photo from Peter. I don't think he found that on the internet.
Hey, he's just big chilling. Big chilling, have a good time with
pet
squirrels.
Squirrel.
Yeah. I am not going to take Jeremiah Love for the Chiefs.
The world is saved.
I am going to switch it up. And I don't know if this is going to be a shocking pick or not. I am going to take Caleb Banks, the defensive lineman from Florida.
Yes, that's
here.
Absolutely shocked the hell
at
out
number
of me.
9.
Yes, it did.
Caleb
Banks
on day. Yeah. I should have waited.
No!
I'm gonna take Caleb. And then the chef goes over to scroll over Caleb Downs, and I'm like, wait,
but not that one.
So I'm taking Caleb Banks because, one, I think that he's built the way a Spags defensive lineman is built. I mean, he is just a massive human being. Standing next to him when he was on the field at the Senior Bowl, his measurables are absolutely verified and real, and you feel that when you're standing next to him. It was a little bit of a slow burn for him in that first practice on Tuesday, but Connor, on Wednesday and Thursday, I thought he was incredible. Now, I think it was between him and Lee Hunter for the best defensive tackle there, but the reps that Caleb Banks had that were the best Caleb Banks reps, I mean, you put that next to Chris Jones, and you got Omar Norman-Lott also kind of coming in and rotating with those 3 guys. You have got some serious disruption from the defensive tackle spots. And we've seen what Caleb Banks can be as a run defender, really, when he's fully healthy. I know he wasn't as consistent, but again, it's these flashes with Caleb Banks that make you think if you get him in the right defensive system with the right defensive coaches, you have got an absolute gem and a game record type of a defensive tackle. So it felt like Chris Jones was kind of doing it all himself on the interior defensive line this past season. You put Caleb Banks and, again, Omar Norman-Lott in the rotation next to him, and I think you feel pretty great about your interior defensive line. So first Senior Bowl guy off the board, I'm going to have Caleb Banks going off the board here at number 9.
Yeah, it's funny. This is where we kind of saw him over summer, and then he didn't really play this year, and you're like, man, I don't know if Caleb Banks is a top, if he's even a first-rounder anymore. So it was good to see him healthy, and it felt like he got better on tape every day. The Senior Bowl, the first day, he got stonewalled a couple of times. Second day, I was like, Caleb Banks is getting his legs back under him for sure.
Yeah.
This made it really easy for me with the Bengals at 10. I'm going to take Caleb Downs. I think they need help everywhere in the secondary, but this is a guy that can help you everywhere in the secondary. They've asked him to do everything at Ohio State. He is one of the smartest defensive backs I've ever watched tape of. He has a sixth sense to know what play is coming next. He crashes downhill like a maniac. He's physical. He's tough. He's got instincts and range. This is the Bengals. One man is not going to fix this defense that is extremely problematic, but this is about as good as you could do on starting that.
I think he can do a lot of different things for you. I think the Bengals played better in the secondary this past season, but there's still not a Caleb Downs type of a player in their secondary. So I could absolutely see him being an option for them there at number 10. Dolphins at 11.
I think I know what you're going to do here.
I don't think you know me at all.
I know exactly. You're just deciding between the two corners.
No, I wasn't.
Oh.
And I'm not just saying that. Although the corners are in play. And if I end up picking one of the corners, it's not because you said that. I just want to be very clear. It's not because you said that.
Mind control.
I do think about Mekhi Lemon as well, who I've mocked to the Dolphins before, and I do like the potential of this pick. I think that he is a really good 1-2 combination with Jalen Waddle and his speed. I think both of those guys, Waddle and Mekhi Lemon, yes, they're smaller wide receivers, but both of them can play inside and out. They can play the slot, and they can play outside at any time. What do you?
Here comes the plot twist. Here comes the plot twist. You're talking about the ghost of Mike McDaniel making this pick, and then you're going to be like, swerve. But I'm taking cash as hell.
Obviously, they need corner. No, I'm not going to take edge rusher for them. I think they were better on the defensive line as the season went on. Corner, I don't know how much I can say that about. Let's see. I sometimes I forget how bleak it was. Let's see. Let's remind myself of the depth chart here for the Dolphins. Yeah, we got Storm Duck, Cater Kohu, Jason Marshall Jr., Gator Great, Rasul Douglas, Juju Brents, Jack Jones. It's not a CB1 there.
I don't think there's a CB2 in that room.
All right, Jermon McCoy. Nobody's had better cornerback tape in 2025 than what Jermon McCoy was in 2024.
It's a great take because you're absolutely right.
Jermon McCoy it is. Now, I'm not doing that just because you said that. I'm not doing that just because you said it. That was an independent idea by me. Just so everybody's clear.
You thought it before I said you were thinking it. That's the point.
You're right. Yeah,
that is absolutely the point.
Yeah.
Cowboys at 12. Let's say they bring back George Pickens, because why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think they're bringing back George Pickens.
Feel pretty good about that. I feel like Cowboys fans hate this because it's all they see, but this is a predictive mock. I'm actually going to pull a curveball. I was going to say I'm going to do the Keldrick Falk pick, but I'm not. I'm going to take Mansour Delane.
I don't. I just don't know if they're going to be in on Falk.
I mean, either way, if Delane makes it here, which is starting to feel like a mini long shot.
I know.
But this is why we did like
in this draft.
He is just. Did anyone besides Mendoza make themselves more money this year? Well, I guess you could argue Reese. Reese wasn't really on the radar the way he was before the year, but
sure.
Delane was a transfer where it was like, man, Delane had a bad year after a good year. What happened?
Right.
And then this year he was unbelievable at LSU. Yeah. So yeah, Delane helped the Cowboys corner, kind of remake the Cowboys corner room.
Yeah, which they definitely need. And I know they just drafted Savone Rebel, if that is your real name, last year. But he's coming back from the ACL tear, and he looked shaky this year. Now it's to be expected. Like that can be totally fine,
right?
With him coming off of a major knee injury, but do you go into this year going, nah, he'll be good no matter what? Yeah, I mean he'll be totally fine. I got no reservations about it. So instead, you draft a player where, worst case scenario, you still have two starting cornerbacks in Deron Bland and Mansour Delane. Best case scenario, you have a sick trio of cornerbacks to work with if Savone Rebel is healthy and looking more like the pre-injury version of himself. Rams at 13.
Well, this kind of worked out for you in multiple ways. I won't cut you off. Sorry.
Well, how did this work out for me? You know what I'm going to pick. Go ahead.
I'm a bad teammate on this, Mock. I get too excited. I start to interject. No. I'm trying to prove self-control. This is your pick, not mine. I'm being a really bad teammate.
I don't know what Les Snead is going to do. We said at the top that this is a predictive mock draft. I don't know what Les Snead is going to do because, he was in a situation for all those years where he never had any draft picks, and now he's in a situation where he's got a surplus of first-round draft picks. I continue to come back to this thought, though. if you believe in one of the other quarterbacks in this class, whether it be Ty Simpson or Trinidad Chambliss, what is a better use of the gift that has become a top 15 pick from you from a trade down scenario the year before than to take a chance on the position that could have the biggest potential home run for you that you're going to need to fill, maybe even as soon as this offseason? Well, I don't know what Matthew Stafford's future is going to be. It sure looks like he's got some more in the tank. I'm going to pick Ty Simpson here. I'm going to take Ty Simpson at number 13. I don't know what Les Snead is going to do, but to me, this is the perfect spot for Ty Simpson because I get it. It's McVay. It'd be the perfect spot for any quarterback. Sure, I understand. But he could potentially get to sit behind Matthew Stafford, which is ideal. And the more I talk to people in Mobile, the more I talk to people at the Senior Bowl, the more that it just feels like Simpson doesn't declare if he's not going to be a first-round pick. Like, I think he got some pretty good intel from the league that they're like, hey, man, why don't you get in this class? Like, why don't you make sure that you're in this class? And I just think there's just too many starving teams that need quarterbacks. You know, Pittsburgh's picking, obviously, in the first round, and they're probably going to have a big quarterback need. It doesn't feel like Rodgers is going to be back for them. And I just think that there's too many quarterbacks. There's too many quarterback needy teams to think that he's not going to go in the first round. He also does too many of the, I'll say, like, quarterbacking things. I don't know if that's a Nate Tyson or not. I feel like he said that before, but it's like changing protections at the line of scrimmage, being able to get to backside reads on full field concepts, like all of the things that you attacking over the middle of the field. He had the best numbers of any quarterback in this class attacking the intermediate middle of the field. Those are NFL type of things. Did he struggle under pressure? Yeah, but you can get better in that area. There's not a lot of guys who come from college to the NFL that have even shown what Ty Simpson only showed as a first-year starter. So again, just a little bit of a Ty Simpson rant. I think he's going in the first round. And for the Rams, I think that this is the ultimate bonus pick to take a chance on a quarterback who could be a starter for you after Matthew Stafford is done. So,
well,
Simpson
because
at 13 to the Rams.
If you hit, what a play this ends up being.
Yes.
And for everybody in the chat saying that like they're surprised to see Simpson go this early. I think the Rams at 13, the Jets at 16, and the Steelers at 21 are all going to be in this stare down for him. So this is not too early. Like, if you like the guy, you are taking the guy. So Simpson, I know he had a tough stretch the second half of the year, but I still think in a quarterback class that has almost nothing, I think he's going to go in the first round as well.
I do too.
The Ravens at 14.
Ravens 14.
Man, I kind of think I didn't expect to be in this situation. I kind of want to take Spencer Fano here at 14 and get this offensive line in the right place. There's also, it's unlikely, but the fact Jeremiah Love is here, like, imagine that's the successor to Derrick Henry. It's so ridiculous. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do it.
No, I don't think so either. Of course, Mekhi Lemon could potentially be in play here, but so much of this passing game revolves around a small wide receiver already in Zay Flowers. So I don't think it would be a lock that they would take him. Obviously, Caden McDonald is their type. They need pass rush help. Cassius Howell absolutely gets after the quarterback. But I'm going to take Spencer Fano because I think this offensive line had some notable problems last year, and it's pretty nice that he fell all the way to 14.
I think that makes a ton of sense for them. If he is on the board here at 14, which, to be honest, man, like, I kind of feel like he's going to be.
It's definitely a world. I mean, look, people got to fall. It's the draft, man. Like,
Right.
Jeremiah Love is sitting here right now. Mekhi Lemon is sitting here right now.
I know, yeah. Yeah, the Bucs aren't
Yeah, and
going
we
to take
fixed the
Jeremiah.
draft for 15 and 16. So what? No, just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. What are you
No,
gonna
I
do
already
there,
drafted
partner?
Sonny Styles. I took him off the board, so I didn't really help myself here. Okay, the Bucs at 15. They're not going to take Jeremiah Love. They're not going to take Mekhi Lemon. They're not going to take Peter Woods. Cassius Howell makes a ton of sense for them just because
That's exciting.
He's just such a frenetic pass rusher. He's a bat out of hell the second that the ball gets snapped. And I've even, like, when we talked about edge rushers, like, I even think that there's still some technique things that he could clean up where he could get even faster. He could get in the backfield even faster. He's got short arms. I think that he's going to have near outlier shorter arms. He's not the best run defender, but man, you see just the overall pass rush grade. He's had an elite pass rush grade over the last 3 seasons, and I don't think that you could just like brush that off, especially for a team in Tampa Bay that has been starving for a pass rusher. Hassan Reddick didn't really work out for them. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka didn't work out for them. Chris Braswell didn't work out for them. They need somebody who can get after the quarterback. I think that Howell's probably that next guy that makes the most sense for him. So they need linebacker, but thankfully for them, Connor, the more linebackers I watch in this class, the more linebackers I think can play at the NFL level. I think C.J. Allen's great. I think Anthony Hill Jr. is great. Deontay Lawson, Jacob Rodriguez. I mean, there were linebackers at the Senior Bowl. I mean, Bryce Betcher, Owen Heineke. Like, there were so many dudes who Kyle Lewis maybe had the best one-on-one running back versus linebacker coverage tape of any all-star event that I've ever watched. Like, that's how athletic this dude is. So it's a really, really deep linebacker class. So I don't think Tampa has to force it. I think they need pass rushers, though. Let's go Cassius Howell here. It's 15.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. Somebody's got to affect the quarterback for this team, man. And that's the name of the game for Howell. So the Jets at 16, this just goes to show you, like, there's going to be somebody that kind of loses this musical chairs game, and in this draft, it was Jeremiah Love. Some people in the chat are probably shocked Mekhi Lemon is here. One of the 3 receivers making it here is not surprising because you see how prevalent the high-end defenders are in this draft. And Simpson went at 13. The 2 top offensive linemen went. That's not a surprise. Caleb Banks might be a surprise to some people, but once again, this was the combo for him at summer, so how much of a surprise is it really? So I think the Jets should tag Breece Hall, assuming they can work out an extension with ABT, which would take running back out of the combo here. And the Jets are just not good enough to take any running back. We just saw this last year, what happened with the Raiders. I think that they have so much work to do on this roster. And for me, it's getting a number 2 wide receiver in Mekhi Lemon, who kind of fits what they need. You have Adonai Mitchell, who could be a true X, number 3, bigger receiver. Garrett Wilson can play inside and outside. But now the slot is open if you want to just play Lemon as the slot, as a separator, manufactured touches. Obviously, quarterback's a massive unknown and problem for this team. There's no quarterback to draft anyway in this spot. So just load it up for the future. And now Mekhi Lemon and Garrett Wilson are your wide receiver tandem with Adonai Mitchell as the 3.
I've long been an advocate of Mekhi Lemon being a New York Jet. I think it makes so much sense for them. I think it makes so much sense for, I mean, Aaron Glenn. I don't know how much longer Aaron Glenn's going to be the head coach of this team, I'm being completely honest. But even like outside of him, any coach would love to have a player that is the dog that Mekhi Lemon is. And I think I see people in the chat being like, all right, well, how does Mekhi Lemon get to this point like you were talking about before? I mean, hey, you think about him for the Ravens, but you got an ability to really fix the trenches, which was a major issue for them. So you go ahead and do that. I mean, what else would have been? I've seen some people. I don't know if you saw that Jeremiah had Mekhi Lemon to the Rams at 13, but like I don't know if they would consider wide receiver there at that spot.
It's a great question
a new one
of
that
what
I had not seen before.
What they think of Devontae going into next year, and the fact that in our mock, like McCoy or Delane would make sense for the Rams. They were gone in our mock draft. Yeah,
I talked about him potentially for Miami at number 11. So there's a lot of places that he could go, but I think the Jets at 16. If he gets to 16, I kind of have a hard time thinking that he's going to get any further than that. The Detroit Lions. Who are the Lions going to pick?
Is this where Awane conversation starts? Our first true guard off the board, although we've had Fano and Mauingoa go off the board as flexible guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think about Caden Proctor as well. I mean, I just watched him and did his full write-up. I don't think he's a tackle, but I think he's like an ass-kicking guard for you.
Right.
I really do. I think he can be a really, really impactful guard at the NFL level. And some people look at him and just they're like, oh, well, he's just, a big brute at 6'7", 360 pounds, but he's got good zone blocking grades as well, as you guys can see there on the screen. So I think he moves decently well. I just think that his feet are a little heavy for pass protection on an island the way that you would need him to be. So for the Lions, if they're interested at guard, which I think that they certainly will be, man, I think that Caden Proctor's a really good pick for them. Honestly, to me, it's coming down to Proctor and Mesidor, because I think Mesidor is actually the best edge rusher who's left. I think he makes a lot of sense for the Detroit Lions because they're a team that's winning right now, and you get a player who is ready to work right now in their winning window.
And it would send him somewhere where he's at least the number 2.
Yes.
Which he kind of ironically was this year. But him and Bain were just so good together. It's where he's going to get some matchups. You could use him in different alignments, and he that's a great spot for him.
Yeah. Obviously, I think that I can't remember who said this, but like a 25-year-old player in the first round is insane, is what somebody said there. You have to kind of think about it like this, because I agree. Like obviously, there's not a lot of 25-year-old players that go in the first round, and the reason why is because at the end of their first contract, especially if they're first rounders, if you pick up the 5th-year option for them, they're 30 years old by the time they're even thinking about signing their second contract in the NFL, which is obviously not ideal given the short lifespan that the NFL has in general. But Akeem Mesidor, you got to think about this. Like, I think he is a ready-made player. I don't think there's this, you get to the NFL, there's this ramping up period. Okay, he'll be good, really good like year 3. I think Akeem Mesidor is good year 1. His technique is that good. He's been taught that well by Jason Taylor, who's the position coach for the Miami Hurricanes. So I'm thinking about him, but honestly, I'm going to go with Proctor. I'm going to go with Proctor here. I think that the Lions are going to make sure that offensive line is not as big of an issue as it was this past season. So let's go with Caden Proctor, who I think is mostly a guard for them, but if they need him to kick out the tackle, they also kind of have that ability with Penei Sewell being a right tackle, and depending on how long Taylor Decker is still, with them, it sounded morbid.
Yeah,
on the team.
Nothing happened to him.
You could be nothing happened to him. He's just getting older. Could potentially.
Didn't we say that about Renner once? We had to verify. We were talking about Renner once. We're like, nothing happened to him. He's alive.
Yeah. I said R.I.P. to him, and I was like, nothing happened to him. But I'm gonna go Caden Proctor here for the Lions, mainly because the chef already clicked it, and I can't go back.
He's not letting you pull the switcheroo anymore. This is the easiest pick I'll have to make in the mock draft because Jeremiah Love fell to the Vikings at 18, a player that is just like, if you're the Vikings, you dream of this scenario. There's probably part of you that wants to go up and get him. That's how much of a perfect fit he is in this offense to help out the young quarterback and it just really be the entire identity of the offense, at least when they're not throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson, which wasn't easy to do this year. So Jeremiah Love makes life easier for everybody in Minnesota's organization. This is the easiest pick I'll have to make today.
I agree. That is a slam dunk pick for them. It truly elevates their offense and takes it to another level. Do I make Panthers fans, or I should say just like NFLSE addicts, happy by making Caden McPounder a pounder?
The pounder spot.
Yeah. Do I change his name legally from Caden McDonald to Caden McPounder? That's the big question here. I do like the idea of bulking up the interior defensive line, getting a dominant presence to free up Derek Brown a little bit more. I know that some people are going to say, well, they need pass rush. I still believe in Nick Scorton and, the type of designated pass rusher that Princely Umanmielen could be. I think this is a C.J. Allen spot as well. I think this is where C.J. Allen's range starts with the linebacker needs that a lot of these teams have. And then there's wide receiver. I don't know. I think Concepcion's probably the next guy that I think about here, even over Denzel Boston. But I don't think that I would be taking him over McDonald or even Peter Woods, who's here. You think about Peter Woods as well.
Right.
think I am going to take Peter Woods now that I'm thinking about it.
There it is.
Down year for him, but I mean, the flashes are still really, really good. We've talked about him as a potential top 10 overall pick, and I think that, okay, maybe he's not a guaranteed top 10 overall pick like we once thought, but you see what he was as a freshman and a sophomore. 87.6 overall grade his freshman season, 83.5. He was one of the highest recruits in his recruiting class, and it's just because, when the guy puts it all together, his best reps look so dominant. If you get those more at a consistent level, I mean, Carolina has had great defensive tackle duos throughout the history of that franchise, and I think being able to pair Derek Brown with another really good presence, I think that could just take their defensive line to a whole nother level, and I think that makes Nick Scourton better. Again, like I said, I think it makes Princely Umanmielen better. So let's go with Peter Woods here to the Carolina Panthers in 19.
All right, the Cowboys again. Not that long ago, we had a corner going to them. I believe Jermod McCoy went to them. Is that correct? Mansour Delane. McCoy went the pick before, so they got Mansour Delane at 12. In a scenario where I was actually talking between Delane and Keldrick Falk. Well, you'll have it. Keldrick Falk is here at 20. But it's actually time to have a little Senior Bowl combo here. Trevor, it felt like TJ Parker reminded people of who he was in Mobile. You saw the long arm. You saw the ability to convert speed to power. He's obviously a stout run defender on the edge like Falk. Mm-hmm. And I think Falk is a better edge run defender almost than most in this class. But Parker's a more accomplished pass rusher than Keldrick Falk.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with TJ Parker here. It feels like we got to the point where over summer we're like, this guy could be a top 5 pick. And then this year was not what you wanted to see, although it wasn't a disaster.
No.
And then you see him at the Senior Bowl, and you're like, everybody took a step back at Clemson. I thought he took the least amount of steps back. Like, I thought Peter Woods, so Avion Terrell, Cade Klubnik, like, there was a lot of guys where I'm like, what happened at this program? But Parker was still good. And I think getting him at 20 is where it kind of all makes sense to fall. Like, I don't think he's not a first rounder anymore. I think that's too far. But I don't think he's a top 10 pick. So Dallas gets a high floor player at 20 that I think has more pass rush juice and reminded people of that in Mobile.
No, Max Chadwick, when we were doing some of the recap shows, said he feels like Parker could very well be the first Senior Bowl guy drafted, and I completely agree. Obviously, I took Banks higher. I took him at number 9 to Kansas City, but Parker had as good of a week as you would want him to have. I mean, he showcased that NFL-level power. He's never going to be overwhelmed on the edge. He's going to be somebody who you feel good about playing all 3 downs. Is he going to be a prolific pass rusher? Okay, maybe not, but still, 15.5% pass rush win percentage this year. It's nothing to scoff at. Like, that's a really good number. I think that's still, like 70th, 80th percentile, something like that when it comes to overall pass rush productivity and consistency from the edge spots. So I think that through the lens of being like, whoa, Parker, maybe he's this top 5 pick. Okay, maybe he's not that, but he's an NFL player through and through. So I don't hate this one at all.
Trevor, I want to take a moment real quickly and thank all the addicts and more watching the show right now. We have over 2,600 people watching our 2-round mock draft, so we can't thank you guys enough in the chat, or if you're just watching, hanging out. And please, if you're new here, please like and subscribe the channel, because we'll do a 3-rounder. There's a charity 7-rounder we do. If you like mock drafts, you want to know what your team's going to do, you're in the right place. So stay here for a while.
Yeah, appreciate you guys watching us live, especially to all the the new people out there that are checking us out for the first time. We know that mock drafts have the ability to do that. So like Connor said, subscribe, hang out for a while. We got a lot of really great content for you guys throughout all of draft season. Steelers at 21. Yeah, if they don't have a quarterback answer by this time, maybe we're thinking about Trinidad Chambliss potentially here at number 21. I'm not going to go that route. But I do think that it's something that's potentially on the table for them, and maybe, again, when we get more towards the draft, that could manifest a little bit more. If Ty Simpson was here, I would really think about that, but I took him at 13 for the Rams. Denzel Boston, I think, makes a ton of sense for this team. I think that some people might look at this situation and go like, well, wouldn't they rather have Case and Concepcion because he's so different than DK Metcalf? And sure, but I think there's a big enough world to where Denzel Boston and DK Metcalf can thrive together. And I just do like Denzel Boston more as an overall receiver. So I think I am going to go with Boston here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And any Steelers fans out there that want a deeper dive into their team and sort of what we think about them and their draft options, You check out the Fix Your Franchise that we did a couple of weeks ago when Mike Tomlin stepped down. But I am going to take Denzel Boston here, the wide receiver from Washington. Big body dude. Got a little bit more smoothness and suddenness to his routes than you would expect, but I think he'd be a really good player for them. And very clearly, they just need more offensive weapons in the passing game going into next season.
Chargers on the clock here at 22. A lot of good options for them on both sides of the trenches. Caden McDonald would be a fit in their interior. But I'm going to go with Vavenga Ioane, the guard from Penn State, that he is big. He is really smooth in pass pro for his size. They had a lot of problems across the offensive line. The tackles was due to injuries. I think the Mekhi Becton signing was just a whiff from them. He reverted back to a lot of the bad problems he had with the Jets, whether it was health, whether it was play falling off. Ioane, man, he's a really, really good guard prospect. He can go even earlier than this. But for the Chargers, great scenario. Let's build it. Mike McDaniel's a great run game coordinator. It's going to be built on running the ball with Amari and Hampton and having a nasty offensive line.
Credit to you for continuing to say his full name instead of just saying Vega Ioane like I do. I'm a coward about it. And you know what?
I stumbled. I stumbled.
You give him his flowers, though. You know, you go for it. And I know that he really appreciates it. Obviously,
so.
Vega, as all of these players, watch every single episode that we record here on the NFL Stock Exchange show. So I'm sure he appreciates it watching it at home. Eagles at 23. I mean, is it as obvious as Kenyon Sadiq? Depending on what happens with, I know we've made this connection so many times before, but, you know, depending on what happens with Dallas Goedert, it feels like he's not going to be re-signed, so he's not going to be there. They lean so heavily into the tight end being a major part of their offense. Yeah, it wasn't the year that a lot of people wanted from Sadiq, but I think he's a crazy athlete. You have the athletic potential from him. I think he's a really good blocker as well. The potential for him to be one of the best tight ends in the NFL is there. Now, is he hitting the ground running the way that we thought that he might coming from Oregon to the NFL? No. I wish he was a little bit more natural as a receiver. I wish they got him involved in the passing game a little bit more, but I think the guy's just too talented to pass up, especially when you have a tight end need. And so, I don't know, do you see anybody else? Caleb Lomu, I think about potentially as well. Like maybe that's the long-term Lane Johnson replacement. Monroe Freeling could be. I like, after doing both of their full scouting reports, because again, we'll get to the offensive tackle episode, I'm much more comfortable with Caleb Lomu than I am Monroe Freeling, although I do like him. I still think it's Sadiq. I just still think it's Kenyon Sadiq here. I don't think there's anybody.
So it's officially Sean Mannion, correct?
Yes, who is their offensive coordinator.
I mean,
yes.
I'm not going to pretend like I know what Sean Mannion's going to want to do, because last year was his first real year as a coach. He was the quarterback's coach in 2025. He was an offensive assistant the year before that. That's not coaching a position group or being involved, in my opinion, in designing the offense. Right. So I don't have a feel for what new ideas he'll bring to this, but it's easy to see how the Eagles can utilize Sadiq in some unique ways.
I think so too. And obviously you're in Green Bay's system. You've got Tucker Kraft, you've got Luke Musgrave, like very clearly, you know, tight end's a big part of their offense and what they want to do. So if it's anything like, you know, he was around when he was in Green Bay, I think that makes
right.
I think he makes sense there. People are saying like, man, you won't have any say. It's all Howie. Yeah, obviously it's going to be much more of Howie Roseman, but I think he's
but like part of being the job of the GM is knowing what the hell you're doing schematically.
Obviously, yeah,
and Sadiq is one of the biggest scheme combos in the entire first round. That's why the last time we did a mock draft, I took him to San Francisco, because I'm like, this is a place that I know the coach will know what to do with him.
Yeah, I think it's, let's just, I don't know, Jim. I do think Lomu makes sense, though.
I was going to say, the more I stare at his logo,
I know, just because Lane missed so much time.
It's constant now at that age.
I'm going Lomu, Tyler.
Yeah.
I'm going Lomu. Click Lomu and don't let me go back from it. Wait! No, I'm just kidding.
Hold the rope.
You're
what did you do?
You're up with the Cleveland Browns at 24.
The Browns at 24. I believe I had them go with, Mauingoa at
Francis
6.
Yes, you did.
Get some O-line help here. Now it would be ideal to get some help for the skill group. And I'm going to take... Man, it's tough. They have Harold Fannin, so I'm not going to take Sadiq. And I'm not calling them the same players, but I just wouldn't want to build a tight end room that way. So I'm going to take Casey Concepcion because this now can open up the field a little bit for them, where Concepcion has the big playability. You've helped the offensive line. Obviously, Judkins is a huge part of your identity on offense. I'm not forcing a quarterback pick here at this spot. We've had if I was going to double down on offensive line, there's a world where they could do that. I love this defense. Like, this defense is absolutely loaded. Could you argue maybe they're looking at another edge rusher? Yeah, but they have a lot to work with on the defensive side of the ball. Let's continue to beef up the offense. Now we've had a combination of power in Mauingoa and vertical speed in Concepcion.
25, the Bears.
Got to be something on the defensive front, right, Trev?
I was going to say it's two players. You want to take a guess?
Keldrick Falk?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Caden McDonald?
We got him, folks.
You got my ass.
The two players are C.J. Allen, the linebacker from Georgia.
Okay.
Potentially, if they want to upgrade at that linebacker level. And then the other one's Akeem Messidor. Like,
I
know
forgot
Bears
about
fans.
Messidor.
I know that Bears fans love the draft. They love team building. I understand that there's going to be a lot of people that, once again, like I was talking about before when I was thinking about it with the Detroit Lions, you don't draft a pass rusher who's 25 years old in the first round. You do if it's this kind of situation.
Right.
The Bears are very clearly in win-now mode. You need a player who can get after the quarterback, who can help their defensive line right now and in the future. I think Messidor gives you the ability to do that. This is the player that really helps you right now when you are in that winning window, especially while Caleb Williams is not under a full franchise quarterback type of a contract. You are maximizing his rookie window, and I think by drafting a player like this, you are doing that. So I think I just made my case for this. I'm taking Akeem Messidor for them at 25, and to be honest with you guys, I don't know that many better picks that are realistic for them at 25, and a player that could help them as much as Messidor could next year. He is a ready-made pass rusher right now for the Bears' winning window.
See, and this is one where it makes a lot of sense, right? Because you talk about his pro readiness. It's the end of the first round and this is a team ready to win. They're not thinking, well, what's the second contract we're going to get out of Messidor? No, like the Bears want to win the Super Bowl next year. That's where they are, thanks to Ben Johnson. So if anything, and credit to you, you've been high on this player longer than anyone as a draft prospect. They're getting a discount on him here, probably because of the age and the late breakout.
Bean Soup said Messidor committed to Miami back when there was only 49 states. It's true. I think it's 48 even. Louisiana Purchase hadn't even happened yet.
Louisiana Purchase. Man.
We drafted it. We got a Louisiana Purchase reference in the show.
People forget this is a history podcast that once in a while goes off topic on the NFL draft.
Correct. Right. That is what people forget.
The Buffalo Bills at 26. Talk about playing yourself, because the top 5 receivers are off the board.
Yeah.
Although, honestly, if I'm the Bills, and maybe this isn't the place for this combo, I'm seeing, I'm trading some picks or a pick for a receiver that's out there on the market. I know Eagles fans hate this, but is A.J. Brown available? Because I'm calling for him if he is.
Sure.
Every single time. So maybe you're not doomed if you get to this spot and you don't have the receiver that you want. Now, looking at the defense that was not great it was really good in the secondary last year. It was not great up front.
Chat's saying C.J. Allen, which I think could make sense.
C.J. Allen does make sense. They've had a lot of injuries at linebacker. They've not been good against the run. You're drafting C.J. Allen to literally be that hammer to the nail of stopping the run. So yeah, let's go with C.J. Allen here. Part of me was also looking at McPounder because he's just such a force on the interior of the defensive line.
Yeah.
But let's get C.J. Allen that can run around and really smash people between the A and the B gaps. And that was a problem for the Bills this year.
Yeah. I think this is a good pick for them. I do. I think C.J. Allen's a really good prospect. And we'll obviously get the linebacker because it's one of the deeper and more fun positions in this draft. San Francisco 49ers at 27.
There it is again.
I'm not picking Keldrick Fall because you're kind of running that one back with Michael Williams. I don't think it really helps them. I don't think you take Caden McDonald either. Kenyon Sadiq, I would think about there, especially with George Kittle's injury. I know they got some depth tight ends, but Kenyon Sadiq, he's built different. Safety as well. I think safety's kind of sneaky for them, like a playmaker like Emmanuel McNeil Warren.
Right. Man, his
like
stock
Jair
just keeps
Brown
going
and,
higher and higher.
Like Jair Brown and Malik Mustafa are good, they're fine safeties, but like McNeil Warren's a different type of a playmaker. So is Dylan Thieneman, to be honest with you.
Thieneman and McNeil Warren are gonna go. Probably top 45.
Let's go McNeil Warren. I just think he was one of the best playmakers at the position this year, and safety's really good. I can't wait to get to the safety episode because
Me too.
Normally there's just not a lot of safeties to talk about, and this year there's a ton to talk about. And you saw the PFF grades for him. I mean, McNeil Warren was incredibly impactful the last 3 years in college football, but specifically this year. The instincts and how he was able to break on the ball, I mean, it was just from any alignment. He was awesome. I think he is a game-changing type of a back-end defender for them. So let's go McNeil Warren.
All right, that leads the Texans on the clock at 28. Another team, the offensive line can definitely be better. There is the childish pick in me that's like, do I take Kenyon Sadiq and just try to get the most athletic weapon possible? But I just don't think it feels like the combo I had a million times 2 years ago when it was like, should the Jets take Brock Bowers? And I was like, but they have no tackles. They need a tackle. Mm-hmm. And it kind of worked out for everybody because Olu's been really good, but Brock Bowers is amazing. So like everybody is right on both sides of it because now the Jets actually have an offensive line and Bowers is really good. And this, I don't think, by the way, Sadiq is anywhere near the prospect Bowers was, so that changes the combo. But the Texans do need the best offensive lineman available in this spot. That's Monroe Freeling territory.
Probably, yeah.
Emmanuel Pregnon, if you're looking interior. Maxi Honachor had a good week in Mobile, it felt like. Got a little better every day.
He really did. I think Blake Miller, I think Jennings Dunker, I think all of these guys are up for potential first-round picks. I really do. I think we're gonna have a lot of offensive linemen go off the board between this and the first part of the second round.
Right. There's a lot of different options. I'm going to take Monroe Freeling because it feels like that is going with the pick where you think he could be a tackle, where a lot of the guys we were just having combos about. I like Jennings Dunker a lot. I just think he's a guard. And Pregnon is a guard. Mm-hmm. And there was another player on that list as well. Miller's not. Miller's a legit tackle.
He's a legit tackle.
Honachor is probably a legit tackle. Caleb Tiernan, for as tall as he is, has really short arms.
He does. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go Monroe Freeling there and help the Texans offensive line. They got to keep CJ Stroud upright, man. We saw how much of a disaster things are when he's not.
So for the Rams at 29, I gave them Ty Simpson already. I like Blake Miller here. I think he makes a ton of sense, the offensive tackle for Clemson. I'm thinking about him. If they want to invest a little bit more in athleticism, maybe they're a team that takes the big chance on Max Ionicher, the offensive tackle from Arizona State, who I think was the best offensive tackle in Mobile at the Senior Bowl. Are they going to take an offensive tackle at 29? I mean, maybe they take Cisse. That's the only other guy that I'm thinking about at corner. Maybe they take Avion Terrell. You think Avion Terrell goes here?
I feel like Shula would prefer to have some bigger DBs.
I think every defensive back would.
A lot of them do. You don't see a lot of coaches that are like, I like short-armed, smaller DBs.
I think Avion Terrell is really smart, man. I just think he's a really smart football player. He's a competitive run defender. I think I'm taking him. They've tried to really fix that secondary in that cornerback room, bringing different guys in. picking up Emmanuel Forbes, trading for Roger McCreary, and I just don't think that it's even where they still want it to be. So Avion Terrell is somebody who I don't think they're going to be worried about at all. Maybe a little bit from a size perspective, but not a football IQ perspective. I'm going to take Avion Terrell here for them at 29.
All right, so Avion Terrell for the Rams secondary. We talked about how corner could have been in play even earlier. The Broncos at 30, who definitely need to get a better run game going next year. That's no secret. It feels like the coach and the quarterback currently hate each other.
Somebody in the chat saying Mesdor played against Kurt Signetti, but as a player.
That's good.
I like it. I do
All
like
right.
it.
Sorry, I had to answer something important. Okay, the Broncos at 30. But did you see what's going on with Bo Nix and Sean Payton?
No.
So
What's going on?
Oh man, it's absolute theater. It's like a WWE storyline. So Sean Payton to the media was saying how Bo had basically it was a matter of time before something happened to his ankle because of his past. And it was like pretty in-depth explanation. And then Bo, I don't know if he was doing a media hit or just talking to the Denver media, but it's recorded. Like you could listen to it on Twitter. Bo was like very, very aggressive in turning that down. Very aggressive. Where he was like, I've never had problems with that
Why would
ankle.
Payton say that?
Insane move. Insane move. And I was so glad for Bo to... And he called him Sean. He didn't call him Coach, which was like, hell yeah, Bo. This was the exact quote. I don't think he should really share how many surgeries I've had in the past, to be honest with you. He doesn't even really know that, but it's going to be good to get back to work. But it was longer than that. And
That's about as feisty as Bo Nix is going to get.
Right. If anyone's ever been around Bo Nix or listened to Bo Nix media, he's not like...
Interesting.
So anyway, let's get the vibes back for Denver. My God. Maybe you should have kicked the field goal, Sean Payton.
No.
Want to see this run game get better. Man, this board really wiped out.
Sadiq? Is this the Joker?
I know, and take over the Evan Ingram spot.
Right.
Honestly, we might be down to that. Look at how much of this board really... And it's too early for the next running back in this class. Yeah, I think it is Sadiq. Okay. It's a good this is the value for Sadiq, right? Even with the questions he has.
Oh yeah, I think so.
This kind of athlete, schematically, they're gonna know how to use him. All those boots and rollouts they do, and his speed and lead blocking can help in the run game. When you get him on the move as that slice blocker or even out in front on screens. Yes, and they need some more juice in their pass catching group, and he'll bring that.
Mm-hmm. I think this is an easy pick if he gets to this spot. Patriots at 31. Probably Keldrick Falk, right? I mean,
or you brought up didn't you bring up the Gabe Akis fit the other day?
I did. Yeah. Does Gabe Akis my only thing is, does Gabe Akis get drafted ahead of Keldrick Falk? Probably not.
No, he doesn't.
So if you're thinking about that player, you're just going to draft Keldrick Falk. So yes, if I don't end up going with a defensive lineman or an edge rusher here, I am certainly down to put Gabe Akis in that conversation if we get to the Patriots and he's still on the board. But I think the Patriots don't pick again until 63. So I don't even think Gabe Akis is making it to 63 at that point.
No, Vrabel would love Falk.
I think he would too. Maybe you think about linebacker, but get linebackers so deep this year. Maybe you love one of these guys at 31, but Keldrick Falk's he's just too much of the total. I don't want to say total package because he hasn't really been able to get after the passer the way that you've wanted to, but like from a size and explosiveness combination, that getting a player like that at 31, you just don't get very often. So I think Falk could go much higher than this, but the fact that he makes it to 31, I think you do take him here if you're the Patriots, and you try to get a little bit better out of him as a pass rusher. But to be honest with you, you don't even necessarily need whole one-on-one pass rush winners. The Patriots are like a swarming pass rush team. Yeah, of course, Milton Williams can win very quickly for you, so can Christian Barmore, but like I feel like they all just really work together very well in the defensive line. I think Folk would be a great addition. So I wouldn't love him in certain team situations in the first round, but I do like it for the Patriots. So let's go with Keldrick Folk from Auburn.
Seahawks at 32. I'm going to take Colton Hood here, the corner
Okay.
from Tennessee, who was pretty good in Mobile. I know he got beat a couple times, but when I watched the reps he got beat on, one-on-ones for corners in Mobile can be like...
It's tough.
It's tough. I thought he looked good. I thought he looked patient. I thought he stayed in the hip pocket. I thought he showed his ability to get his head around and try to make a play on the ball. He had a great year on tape, especially after they lost Jermod McCoy for the year. What was thrown on his plate, and he took those responsibilities and ran away with them. Young player, obviously. Tariq Woolen leaving in free agency. This secondary has so much talent across the board, but they're always going to make that a priority in Mike McDonald's defense. So Colton Hood,
man, a lot of people in the chat are mad at the Keldrick Folk pick, saying that he's not explosive. I feel like Keldrick Folk is explosive for his size.
I thought Keldrick Falk's tape was more impressive than his very disappointing raw stats.
I thought so too, man. I still think that this is a back end of the first round, early part of the second round type of a player. People are bringing up the fact that they moved on from Keon White. That is a point that I think is valid, but I think that they just didn't like Keon White anymore. I don't think it's necessarily because they don't like that type of a football player. If Keon White was more productive, I feel like they don't move on from him. But we'll obviously do a lot more research into all of these teams and exactly the players that they need. But I feel like he would be great on a Mike Vrabel defensive front. So I don't know. I feel like that's a little much to say that he's not explosive for the player that he is, for the size that he is.
All right, round two.
Yeah, well, before we get to round two, got to pay the bills real quick.
Oh, please do.
PFF betting segment brought to you by our friends over at DraftKings. You know, Connor, I'm not going to lie. I think it's going to be a slugfest in the Super Bowl. I like under. I like the under 45.5. I know people don't want to hear that. They want to lay at the scoreboard and everything like that, but these are two really good defenses. Drake May has really struggled throughout these playoffs. Seattle's defense, it's no easier of a test than what he's been through already. I think the Patriots are going to have a lot of different things that they're going to be throwing at Sam Darnold. I like the under in this game, but there's plenty of game bets and prop bets and everything that you guys can take a look at. DraftKings Sportsbook, the number one sportsbook for live betting, is making every snap, every drive, every moment of the Super Bowl count with DraftKings Live Millions, featuring over $5 million in prizes just for live betting. Here's how simple it is. Head to DraftKings Sportsbook app, opt in, and then receive a promo token. Place a live bet of $1 or more on the Super Bowl, and you're automatically entered. That's it. And every live bet means another shot to win as well. Place a live bet and stack your entries all Sunday long. Once the game wraps up, we'll randomly select our prize winners. There will be more than 100,000 winners, and will you be one of them? That's the question. So jump in, bet live, and let the entries roll for a shot at a share of over $5 million in prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code PFF. That's promo code PFF to bet live for your share of $5 million in prizes with the promo code PFF. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. If you got a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or just text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois, 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario, restrictions apply. No purchase necessary, opt-in required. Minimum odds, minus 500. Prizes, either bonus bets or single-use 20% profit boost. Max bet $20 that expire in 30 days. See official rules for entry, period, and free method of entry. Sponsored by Crown Gaming Incorporated.
I could have sat at Ruth Chris and had a meal during that one.
You know what?
I'm thankful for it. I'm not
There's
complaining.
a lot of things we got to get to.
I'm
A
not
lot of things
complaining.
they're offering. It's the
gotta
big
keep this-
game, as they say.
I don't know
what are you doing?
What are you doing for the big game?
Actually mention, the words, the trademarked words, but it's the big game. All right, second round. Let's do it. Let's dig into it.
Yep.
Is this me or you?
This is you, partner. You're the odds.
Oh, the Jets. So you went with David
Mekhi
Bailey.
Lemon and David Bailey.
Mekhi Lemon. I mean, this is Cade McDonald, right?
All day.
Yeah, I mean, this is
All day.
I mean, you I don't know if you could draft better for the Jets.
You can't. This is actually like breaking the algorithm.
I would have taken Ruben Maine at the top, but
right.
If you're going to be like, hey, man, you got to take David Bailey and McCollum and Caden McDonald, I'll be like, nah.
Well, because think about it now, right? Glennon historically has run both style fronts. And I saw people...
people are yelling it's rigged.
Sure. Guess what? It's our mock draft. You could hate me, but you watched. But say the Jets run more of a 3, because people are like, well, they have Will McDonald already. If they run a 3-4 with Bailey and McDonald, you need to have a huge group of D tackles and 3-4 ends. I mean, if you have a front of Harrison Phillips, very stout nose tackle, Caden McDonald, very, very stout defensive tackle, and Juwan Briggs, who was really good last year, that's a 5-man where you're like, whoa. Like, we're actually going to be able to get downhill and attack and defend the run. And so, yeah, this kind of fell into the Jets' lap perfectly.
Caden McJets.
Here it is.
All right, Cardinals.
Cardinals at 34. I believe you had them take Arvell Reese it feels like days ago. Arvell Reese at 3, which is pretty awesome. I'd like to add to the offensive line here.
Okay.
Let's look at, I would imagine the best players are our interior players right now. Manuel Pregnon. Man, I kind of like Jennings Dunker here for them. Is that early? Crazy?
Well, they don't have a head coach.
Let's say it's Mike LaFleur.
So I don't know.
It's crazy.
Jennings Dunker, it was good to get to watch him live, because I think that there are, to me, a lot of the issues with Jennings Dunker, and I was talking with Dalton Wasserman about this, when we were watching him in person, a lot of the issues with him is his stance, his pre-snap stance isn't really loaded. It's kind of like he's on his heels, and then let's say he's set up and he's running to the right. He almost like, how some people are very, very, they're very like on their quads, they're on their toes, they're ready to explode. The second the ball is snapped, boom, like you're just going in this direction. But for Jennings Dunker, at least the first day that we watched him in practice, it's almost like he like loaded and then went. And I think it's just because his stance wasn't a very loaded stance, which is weird to think of a guy who just has such great zone blocking and outside zone rush grades over the last couple of years, but I think that's a product of Iowa as well. All of that to say, I like Jennings Dunker a lot more on day 2 and day 3 of the Senior Bowl.
Right.
I think he is a second-round caliber pick type of a player. I don't think he's a tackle, but he actually did better at tackle in the second and third days of the Senior Bowl than I thought he was going to. And if you fix his stance a little bit and you can get it a little bit more springy and more explosive and more loaded, I think you're talking about a really good football player. So they need interior offensive line help. There's no doubt about it. I think Dunker is a great option, but I also think Ionichur is a good option for them. I think Blake Miller is a good option for them. Emmanuel Pregnon is a good option for them. Any of those 4 players, I think, make a ton of sense for them here at 34.
Yeah, it's tricky. I definitely have my concerns about it. I do not think he's a tackle. That's the problem. What's going on?
Petey said, imagine Dunker at head coach. I don't know why, just because I think we talk about him at different positions, but that just made me laugh.
All right, I'm a coward. I'm going to take Pregnon at 34 and get somebody that I know is at least a guard today. Not going to play the game of having to transition to a different position. And yeah.
Hold on.
Coward.
I do want to read this super chat, because Boston Ryan gave us a $100 super
Holy
chat.
Smokes. Thank you, Boston Ryan.
Thank you, Boston Ryan. We really appreciate it. It says, had to take Campbell and Gonzo's pads off the other day for a media shoot. Took 3 guys for Gonzo. I was worried that I was going to injure him. Beyond tight. Is this a new phenomenon? Also, caught an underhanded pass from Drake May. My life is complete. Yeah, I mean, you could never wash your hands again. From somebody who allegedly never washes his hands. I have never washed my hands for less, and you've caught an underhanded pass from Drake May. So I think that you've got to join me in this brotherhood here. Yeah, I think that the new thing with pads is to make them basically like skin tight. Yes,
small as possible.
Yeah.
As like you're just trying to stay as aerodynamic and as athletic as possible.
Everybody's actually just taking Michael Bennett's lead. You remember Michael Bennett had the smallest shoulder pads.
He was just out there with delts showing out. His delts were his pads, which was awesome.
The man's all delt.
I wouldn't say it's not new, but it continues to trend the same way. So every year it feels like pads get smaller and less noticeable. And jerseys are more cropped now than they used to be. That's a Nike thing. Reebok's jerseys were more baggier unless you tailored it a certain way. The Nike jerseys are very, very cropped and cut a certain way, a very different way. They're so different.
We'll just wait until they outlaw tackling and then it's just flag football. And then you won't even have pads.
Yeah. And it's just shorts and maybe a penny.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. No preseason game. One preseason game, 24 regular season games.
No, NHL, 82 games.
Sorry, 82 regular season games, but just no contact. So now, you don't have to worry about the wear and tear.
No.
This is the football the next generation wants, and we're here to fight against it. Who did the Titans take at 35? Did we have them taking Ruben Bain?
Yes. Robert Saleh gets Ruben Bain.
Good pick, Bobby. 35 Titans. Ooh. See.
You see.
Can I see all the wide receivers, please, Tyler? Does Omar Cooper Jr. get drafted this high? I think if he tests well, he's got a shot. Because Chris Bell's coming off the ACL tear.
Right.
Jeremy Bernard, I don't think he's going to test super well. I don't think Elijah Surratt's going to test super well either. It's either that or offensive line. But I think that offensive line is probably the better value for them now that I'm kind of thinking out loud here. I am going to go with the idea that J.C. Latham's going to be a guard. Unless there's somebody in the chat who follows the Titans more closely than I do, who is like, no. He's a tackle 100% about it. Because if not, then I'm going to take Blake Miller. Because I think Blake Miller is a fringe first-round type of an offensive line. I think he's a fringe first-round type of an offensive lineman. So then you're kicking J.C. Latham inside. He's playing guard, and then you've got Blake Miller at offensive tackle. Dan Moore's on the other side. Man, I just don't think that... some people in the chat are talking about Jeremy Bernard. I just don't think he goes this high. I don't think he's going to test well enough to go this high.
Yeah, remember we were saying it's like Jarvis Landry style with him.
Oh, Latham's going to be a fullback. Yeah, okay. That's good. Yeah, that's good. They do need cornerback pretty bad, don't they? Somebody's mentioned a corner.
Yes, they do.
Cisse is here. How bad is it? How bad is it? L'Jarius Sneed's not going to be on the team anymore.
No.
Darrell Baker Jr., Jalen Armour-Davis, Kyer Elam, Marcus Harris. Oh, it's bad. I'm going to go Keith Abney. Give me Keith Abney. I didn't realize it was that. I didn't realize it was that bleak, folks.
Yeah.
I forgot that it was that bleak for the Titans. Now let's go defense. Keith Abney.
Raiders are on the clock.
Draft Isaiah Wilson again. I would, but he's not in the class. Sorry. Can't.
This is a team that needs help across the board. You look at all the different needs right there.
Ooh, they could have used corner.
They could use corner. Cisse actually makes a lot of sense.
Potentially.
Yeah, they drafted a couple of receivers last year. I still would love the idea of to bring one of the Indiana guys with Mendoza, but I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to go with Brandon Cisse. Get them an outside cover corner for a defense that needs help at all three levels. And we might be a little faster in the second round, everybody, so bear with us. Sorry about that if we take a pick and we only give 2 lines on a guy.
I think I took Jordan Tyson I believe it took Jordan Tyson for the Giants. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, that's a clean way of seeing.
Look at you, Tyler.
Oh, my God.
Oh, you love to see it. Can I see guards? Can I see guards for this team? Dunker, yeah. I think Dunker could make a lot of sense for them.
They've been bad at center, haven't they? I know John Michael Schmitz did not work out the way they hoped.
I'm not taking a center at 37.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm not taking a center in this class at 37. I'm thinking Dunker, or can I see corners? Because corner's the other spot that I'm thinking about here for the Giants.
You tired of the Tay Banks experience?
Oh, Keontae Scott. Oh, Keontae Scott. They have Drew Phillips, but do we think Drew Phillips could play on the outside?
Well, he was really good year one. I don't think he was as good following that. Scott definitely fits the Denard Wilson tough guy, like tough corner kind of mold.
I know. I think I'm gonna pick this. I'm looking up specific snap counts here for Drew Phillips. Give me one sec. He's been mostly in the slot. He's barely played out wide. He's only played 74 snaps out wide. I think he could play out wide, though. I remember watching him at the Senior Bowl, and I feel like he could play out wide. All right, just give me Jennings Dunker. Because I think Keontae Scott's
serious.
I think Keontae Scott's only a slot, and if Drew Phillips is only a slot as well, then you don't really help yourself there. I don't really love another corner at this spot this high. Like Chris Johnson, people talk about Chris Johnson. If you want to play off-zone coverage, I like Chris Johnson, but I thought he struggled this week when he was asked to play press man.
I thought
he wasn't just like not great. Like I thought he struggled this week. So you've got to be a very heavy zone coverage team, and I just don't think that has a ton of value at this spot. Jennings Dunker, I think, does actually have value and makes you better on the interior. Yeah, let's go. Let's go Jennings Dunker here for them.
38, the Texans. This is from the Laramie Tunsil trade with the Commanders. I'm going to take Jadarian Price, the running back from Notre Dame. The Texans, they need a difference maker in the backfield. I'm not relying on Joe Mixon to come back. Jadarian Price, because he split the work with Jeremiah Love, went a little under the radar, although obviously Notre Dame fans know him well. He's a stud. He's an elite zone runner. He is really strong pound for pound. I think he's going to develop as a pass catcher. He's an elite kick returner. Price is phenomenal. Absolute phenomenal. And now the Texans can get some explosive plays out of their backfield.
All right, who we got for, Francis Mauigoa and Casey Concepcion already for the Cleveland Browns? Man, I feel pretty good about this. Man, hit the two big needs for them. Man, I could go O-line again. I could absolutely go O-line again.
Yeah, they have a lot of rebuilding to do on that part of the team.
Give me Max Yonicher. Developmental tackle.
Coming off the big week.
Coming off a huge week.
I feel like he got better over time, which was great to see.
People are saying Trinidad.
Are we gonna act like Trinidad's in this draft?
I am.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Okay, yeah. Cool. I figure we might as well until he's not.
But for this pick, give me Max Yonicher. I thought day 2 and day 3 of the Senior Bowl, he was so unbelievably impressive. Just the athlete that he is, how great he was in pass protection. I think with him and Mauigoa, you're talking about two potential bookend offensive tackles for you for the next couple of years. So I really like the potential of that. And I've said multiple times, O-line, O-line, O-line for the Cleveland Browns.
All right, the Chiefs are on the clock at 40. You took Caleb Banks for them in the first round with the 9th pick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go on the offensive side of the ball here. I'm going to make a pick that I don't know how people are going to feel about it, but I'm going to take Jonah Coleman here at 40.
Ooh.
I don't love the way the wide receiver board is right now. I'm not just going to take one to take one. Hopefully they can find a way in the pro market to get another pass catcher. They'll have to. If Chris Bell wasn't hurt, he would make a lot of sense for them. I think I can get one of these other guys in the third round. So I'm going to take Jonah Coleman, who has got good feet for his 230-pound frame. He's got natural pass-catching hands. He's physical as hell. He's creative as a runner. This is the kind of guy, if they're not going to get Jeremiah Love, that fits the Kansas City backfield.
He runs damn hard, so obviously that's something that the
runner. He's awesome.
Chiefs have gravitated towards over the last couple of times that they've gotten it back there. Cincinnati Bengals, you took Caleb Downs for them at number 10. Can I see interior defensive line and then interior offensive line, Tyler? Because I think that's what I'm really going to be deciding between. Oh, Lee Hunter. Easy. Very easy.
Forgot
Very
about
easy.
Lee Hunter, who had
not
the best day one in Mobile by
one
far.
of the best players in Mobile. One
Yeah.
of the best players in Mobile. Was really fast with his hands, really good in run defense as well, even against the double team drills. I mean, he was fantastic. One of the best players in Mobile, no question. And a really good year this past year for one of the best defensive lines in the country. He really developed. He had his best year as a pass rusher, I think. A really solid run defender as well. To get Caleb Downs and Lee Hunter, I mean, Bengals fans got to be pumped about that.
Yeah. The Saints at 42. I went on the offensive side of the ball with them in the first round and took Carnell Tate. It's kind of him and Jeremiah Love in that spot. I think this is a team that could use another pass rusher. It's just a matter of, I know exactly what I'm going to take. I was thinking the type of pass rusher. This is Gabe Akis to me in this spot.
Could see it.
Because he
could
has
absolutely see it.
He has the size that they would covet. I was saying on our pod Wednesday, in the spring he was 279. At the Senior Bowl he was 260. We've now seen him play at a high level at two different weight classes, standing up and with his hand in the dirt. So for the Saints, this is the kind of guy you want.
So Miami's up next. Jermon McCoy, I went with a corner for them. I mean, there's some wide receivers here that you could think about. Oh, I mean, is this the Trinidad spot?
It easily could be. I mean, it feels like the Tua era is over.
Yeah, the Tua era is
so
definitely
then if
over.
it's not Malik Willis, they did hire the Green Bay guys.
And you're in a situation where you're not going to have a ton of flexibility to bring in a quarterback that you feel great about because you've got a lot of dead cap that you're going to be dealing with to get rid of Tua.
I think if a post-June, isn't it like $63 million?
I mean,
as a post-June.
Yeah, it's a crap ton of money.
So
I think they will. They have Quinn Ewers, obviously, so you can get away with sort of like being like, oh, we'll go into next season with Quinn and it'll be fine. But
yeah,
I would.
He played better than I thought he would. I want to put that out there, Quinn, but it's not saying a ton.
I know. I would take Trinidad Chambliss here if I'm Miami.
If those guys can't get Malik Willis to go there because they're both from Green Bay, I'm with you that this is the spot to take Trinidad.
Yeah. I just don't know if they're going to have the money because there's going to be a lot of other teams that are going to be bidding up.
Right. And I don't think Trinidad's going to be in this draft. But the power of the lawsuit.
People are saying do not take a QB here for Miami.
Whatever pick we make, there's always people saying they hated the pick.
I know, but there are way more people that don't want to go quarterback here for Miami.
I mean, if it makes them feel any better, I would have highly considered Trinidad at 44 for the Jets. So I don't think it's like a range thing with Trinidad. It's just a Miami thing.
All right, well, let me see guards then. Guard is probably...
No, take who you want to take.
Well, we talked about
Peter
Trinidad.
said, please take a quarterback here, and he funds the entire show. So what really matters?
That's actually, that's a good point. But Peter's being an antagonist this episode.
Which is great.
He's being a gold medal instigator this entire show.
Oh, man.
I like Chase Besantis as well. I don't know at 43. Can I see the
Besantis
overall
is
board?
That, yeah. I think I could see him going in the second round.
Ooh.
Oh, he saw something, folks.
Eli Stowers.
Whoa.
Pick
New
Eli
Jonnu
Stowers.
Smith just dropped.
Yep. Eli Stowers. Eli Stowers, I think, is because I was thinking about receiver. I was thinking about the tight end spot. Eli Stowers, I actually think is going to be the second tight end drafted in this draft. That's kind of my take that I'm soft launching.
You're like letting it marinate a little bit?
Yeah. I think he's a damn good receiver. I think he's just such a great overall X factor type of a playmaker. Yeah, give me Stowers. I like Stowers more than the receiver options that are on the board for them anyways.
All right, the Jets at 44, their last pick of the show. This is the fourth of 4 picks. David Bailey, Mekhi Lemon, Caden McDonald. To round out this draft, I said that Trinidad Chambliss was potentially in play here, but I'm going to take the safety from Oregon, Dylan Thieneman.
Ooh, nice.
The Jets are horrendous at safety. He could do everything for them, some ball skills and range. You see the snap counts everywhere. I think they sign one in free agency to be a starter, but then they have to draft one as well. Thieneman is a day 1 starter.
For Baltimore, I'm immediately thinking Omar Cooper Jr. And after looking up their roster, I feel pretty good about this. It kind of depends on what Madubuike's status. Somebody just said that Madubuike literally tweeted like good news or something. So,
well, that solves it.
Right. I mean, I hope that that's true. Give me Omar Cooper Jr.
Okay.
I'm going Omar Cooper Jr. here, the wide receiver from Indiana, who I do actually think is going to be the first Indiana wide receiver drafted here. Pairing him with Zay Flowers, I feel pretty good about that.
Your Buccos at 46. I believe you took Cassius Howell, if my memory serves me correct, at 15.
I did, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love that pick for them. Let's help the pass rush. Cade Otton is a pending free agent. Is that right?
He is, but they like him.
I think he'll be back. Like why would Cade Otton leave?
No, I also think that it's much more likely.
I was just kind of going through in my brain the scenarios for them. Oh, man. It's kind of tricky. Oh, no, because they have a small corner in my boy from Kansas State last year. I was going to take Pons.
Yeah.
But you can't have 2 5'9" corners.
Sure you can.
You can.
Keontae Scott is there, though.
Who would play the slot, but they had...
And then Parrish would play on the outside.
Which he did really well in college, but...
And then Zion McCollum, and you also have Benjamin Morrison.
Right. Man, Scott would help the secondary in a lot of ways.
I think they would like Scott, but... Who did they take in the first round? Who did I say they take?
Cassius Howell. So now they're just taking smaller. Scott's not real small, but he plays the slot.
Who's the linebacker?
Jake Golday.
No.
Anthony Hill.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Hill. Would be
Anthony Hill's
for them.
Anthony Hill is the pick.
Yeah,
especially in Todd Bowles' defense to have that kind of, smash mouth, like run defense centric. It's got good size, 6'3", 238. I guarantee he's going to be at least 245 at the combine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this fits their run defense in the middle.
Yep.
So now they have somebody that can get after the quarterback, and now they have somebody in the middle of the field to stop the run. I'm
taking Trinidad here for the Colts.
Okay.
I mean, what are their options right now? You're maybe bringing back Daniel Jones, who's coming off an Achilles tear. You have Anthony Richardson, but you kind of already tried that. Who else? What other options do you have? I mean, maybe they bring in Rodgers. I don't know. But I actually think that Trinidad Chambliss with Shane Steichen would be awesome. Give me Trinidad Chambliss. Loved him. I loved how he played out of structure. I love what we saw last year. It's a great baseline for somebody who can play the game at a high level under pressure situations. Really good rollout and play action and RPO type of a quarterback when you want to throw those things in. And the Colts just they have to figure out quarterback, and they have to figure it out pretty quickly. If he's available for them in the middle of the second round, I like this fit for him.
Falcons at 48. They didn't go anywhere in the first round because the Rams had their pick. Sorry, guys. If they're going to make this work with Michael Penix, and I think Stefanski is going to do his best to make it work with Michael Penix before, and if it doesn't, he'll get his own quarterback and all of that. But this year, when Penix comes back from injury, it's about him. They got to get somebody that can win down the field, man. You got to have it's got to be a play action based offense with Bijan Robinson. And when Zach Robinson did that, it was good. The problem was they didn't do enough of it. So I'm going to go with Chris Bell here. Chris Bell. It would be him or Brazel. Bell, when healthy, is a little bit more exciting to me as a vertical threat in this offense.
Who'd we take for Minnesota?
Jeremiah Love at 18.
Oh, yeah, they got Jeremiah Love. I think this is A.J. Halsey for me. Can I see all the safeties? They need corner help, but like they absolutely need safety help as well. It's a really good safety class.
I was just every time I look at this group, Bud Clark had a great week in Mobile.
He did.
This is a good safety class.
I love AJ Halsey though. I mean, I still think he's one of my favorite safeties in this draft. Love him as an over the middle type of a defender. He hits like a Mack truck. He can cover for you in single high situations. I think Halsey's a stud. I thought he was a stud at Houston. I thought he was a stud this past year at LSU. And with Harrison Smith retiring, I mean, they don't really have a lot of options at safety. So let's go AJ Halsey here for the Vikings.
Lions at 50. I believe, Trev, you went with a guard solution for them in Caden Proctor. I'd like to see what we have available on the edge. Oh, I know exactly who I'm going to take because he was on the main screen. But I'll look at all the edge class just to show everybody.
Oh, you're going to take, oh my gosh, this is the most slam dunk pick of the whole mock draft.
Zion Young.
Yes.
Campbell's going to want that heavy-handed, big edge setting. Pass rush got so much better this year. It looked damn good on the clips you were posting in Mobile. It looked damn good on the practice tape. Zion Young plays hard the way that Campbell's going to want. Yeah, lock it in. This is the guy across from Aiden Hutchinson.
This is if you're the Lions, you come away with Caden Proctor and Zion Young. That's one of the best 1-2 combinations that we've done here. So I had Peter Woods for the Panthers. I think Deontay Lawson could make sense for them, getting a new linebacker in there. I'm trying. There's not really a wide receiver that I love in this spot. Jeremy Bernard is just really consistent, kind of like Jalen Coker is really consistent, but I think I'd take Lawson over him for the Panthers. QJ was in the chat saying Jacob Rodriguez as well. I don't know if Jacob Rodriguez is going 51, though. Jacob Rod Pounder. Pause. I just don't know if Rodriguez is going this high, guys.
Well, it's going to depend if teams think he can run. That's all it's going to depend on.
We know he
can do everything else.
Last thing I'm checking. Hold on. I don't think they take a tight end at 51. No. Yeah, let's just take Deontay Lawson. Let's take Lawson. They need a linebacker help.
Well, lucky me. I am on the clock for the Packers.
There it is. Somebody said you have to pick for the even number so you get the Packers because I was by myself when you left me for the Monday episode and I got the Packers in the wheel. By the way, I didn't get the Packers in the evil wheel where they were taking up 25% of the piece of the pie. I got the small sliver of a Packer. The Packers on the wheel. It was incredible.
Oh, man.
I picked Lee Hunter for him and everybody was pumped about it, but that's not an option for you.
You know who I can take, though?
It's Christian Miller.
Christian Miller's still on the board.
I know.
He is a rock-solid player, man.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about him or Big Citrus, but when I saw Miller there, I'm like, we got to get Miller off the board here. They go down into that Georgia pipeline again. He is rugged, tough, got enough athleticism. This is a Green Bay Packer on the D-line.
Pittsburgh. I gave them Denzel Boston.
Their secondary is so old, man.
It's true, but I think they're going to bring back James Pierre. And when we were going through Fix Your Franchise, people were correct. I wasn't giving enough credit to Joey Porter, who was better this year. And he's
not
really
old.
Corner.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyle Duggar's a free agent, right?
I would imagine, because I believe he was a trade. So,
because like, what about them drafting Keontae Scott, playing him in the nickel, and then Ramsey plays more safety for you?
Has anyone been more of a Steeler? And yes, Kyle Duggar's a free agent. More of a Steeler than Keontae Scott?
I feel like he's just an absolute Steeler. Yeah, we're going Keontae Scott here. I don't think there's anybody that I would like more than him in this spot.
Eagles.
Caleb Williams to the Eagles.
So that is their long-term.
Is Blake Miller still on the board?
Right tackle. Yes, he is.
God.
But you already took a tackle for the Eagles, so I'm not going down that road. Can we look at tight end? I feel like we do this every time, and I'll do it again. I'm taking Max Clare.
Yeah, I mean it's a good pick. It's a good pick.
He fits them. You're not using a first rounder on him, which you shouldn't anymore. You're not even using a top 50 pick on Clare anymore. Get him back to the form he had 2 years ago, where he's a little bit featured more. Yeah, Max Clare, who can do a little bit of everything for you at tight end, and develop him the way it's not going to be Goddard because Goddard was so damn good, but develop him in the same path.
Chargers at 55 might be a little bit we went Vega Owane. You went Vega Owane in the first round.
You can do it again?
Is it time for the Chargers to have their daily dose of vitamin C, the little big citrus in their life?
Yeah.
I think defensive tackle could certainly be an area where they're going to look at. Dante Corleone. I like Corleone. I wonder.
Doesn't feel like he's going in the first 2 rounds anymore.
No, and I watched him at Shrine, and he's dominant at Shrine. Is he going to be durable throughout his NFL career? I think that's just the big question that I have for him. When he's on the field and he's healthy, you know exactly what you should get. You get a dominant nose tackle type. So I like the Godfather, but I think I'm going big citrus here instead. I'm going Dominic Orange. Let's go big citrus. Trenches, offensive and defensive there for the Chargers. Eating your vegetables, as Alex Clancy from Locked On Cardinals would say.
Jaguars, this is a damn good roster, man, that Liam Cohen got in the right direction. There's not a pressing panic need for me with Jacksonville. But offensive line is where my brain kind of begins, or defensive tackle. Let's look at the offensive line first. Man. But did Blake Miller... I feel like Blake Miller's been playing right tackle where Anton Harrison is locked in.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So that's a big ask.
Like if you could flip the left?
Yeah.
Well, they had Cole Van Lannon, who they just signed
right,
too.
Who was... Yeah, this would probably be more interior depth that you'd be looking at in this spot. You just took Big Citrus.
Correct.
Actually, Basantis makes a lot of sense here.
Could. I think 56, we're in the realm with Chase Basantis.
And also, like Liam Cohen wants to establish that downhill run game. Basantis is really good in close quarters like that. Yeah, Chase Basantis, the guard from Texas A&M, who we haven't talked about a lot because we haven't done a lot of deep guard rankings.
Yeah, but one of the best pass blocking, I think, interior offensive linemen in the class.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Basantis here. There's a lot of directions for Jacksonville because you could have went interior D-line as well, but you just had Big Citrus go in front of me, so I'm going to pivot to a guard instead.
Okay. All right, Bears are next. But before we get to the Bears, our game plan of the week, presented by Western Southern Financial Group, a game plan for you guys' financial future. I think the game plan of the week, we're talking about the Super Bowl here. A lot of zone, a lot of too high coverages against Drake May if you are Mike McDonald and the Seattle Seahawks. That's where I think they're going to have the biggest advantage because you don't put May in these situations where you're pressuring with man coverage and then he's pretty comfortable and confident throwing against man coverage. And if you're playing a lot of zone, you get to mitigate Drake May's usage of his legs as well because you could put Devon Witherspoon, one of the linebackers, Nicky Manwari on him sort of in those spy roles. So I think that the game plan could be playing a lot of man coverage, a lot of too high stuff if you're the Seattle Seahawks to really put Drake May in a bind. Just like every team win starts with a great game plan, your future should as well. With life insurance built like a championship roster, Western and Southern helps protect you and your family so you can focus on winning today knowing that tomorrow is covered. Whether you're just starting out building your dynasty or looking to lock in long-term protection, their coverage options are designed to match your game plan. Visit westernsouthern.com/PFF to get your free life quote and start building your financial game plan today. Western and Southern, built to win, backed by over 130 years of helping people protect what matters most. Bears, I gave them Akeem Messidor in the first round. I think safety could be a big need for them. Can we see safety? Who's left with safety? All right. I like Kamari Ramsey. I think he could be a solid option for them. I like Genesis Smith and Zakee Wheatley as well. Maybe at 57. Because he linebackers. I see linebackers here for him. Yeah, do I do it? Do I just do it? Do I just do it?
What are you going to do?
Do I do it for him?
Do it to him.
Is this the J-Rod spot? Are we just getting J-Rod off the board here?
He's like the ultimate crowd pleaser pick.
I know, he is.
Everybody, the crowd goes wild every time.
I'm going to take Jacob Rodriguez. Jacob Rodriguez to the Bears. Akeem Messidor, Jacob Rodriguez. They can figure out safety a little bit later.
Niners at 58. They went Emmanuel McNeil-Warren at safety in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get some wide receiver help for the Niners in this spot. They should get healthier on the defensive front next year. I'm going to take Jeremy Bernard to this team. He just feels like the guy. So Jawan Jennings is a free agent. I don't know if he'll be back. But if you want that possession, can play physical, will go underneath without any fear, like does everything Kyle Shanahan asks with timing and precision, Bernard can be that guy in this Niners offense. Kyle is obviously very particular about the type of wide receivers he drafts. I think Bernard's play style fits them. There you go.
Bernard, I think, is just a rock-solid type of a wide receiver. I don't know how high he's going to go because I don't think he's going to test super well. But you know what you're getting. He's a high-floor type of a player. And I agree, in a Shanahan offense, he could be pretty productive. Who do we pick for the Texans? All right, Monroe Freeling and Jadarian Price. Pretty good.
Go back to the O-line well again.
I mean, probably.
Blake Miller?
Ooh, nope. Hold on. Hold on.
He's got a bigger idea.
Cook. I might be cooking. Hold on. Wait. I might be cooking. I might be cooking. I don't know if I'm cooking. I'm thinking about Sam Hecht, the center from
over Connor Lew.
Yep.
Wow, I thought Sam Hecht was amazing this week, but I don't know if I'm there yet.
Yep.
Okay.
I like Connor Lew a lot, but I kind of like the potential of Connor Lew more than what I saw this season from him.
He's not cooking.
And then he tore his ACL.
Yeah. And then he surprisingly declared.
Right.
I didn't see that coming. I still like him, though, a lot. Do it. Take him.
Who's left on the board? Am I forgetting somebody like obvious that might be there? That's like BPA that makes more sense. Don't need edge rusher.
I mean, this team has to have one mission. Put a viable offensive line in front of our rattled quarterback and also run the football. Everything else is great for this team. Defense, receivers, they're even decent at tight end.
Yeah. I'm going to take Sam Hecht. I'm going to make the statement.
Okay.
I'm making the statement. I think he could be one of the best centers in this draft. If I saw him lose a rep, I don't remember it because there were too many reps where I saw him win. So
I didn't see him lose.
He was unbelievable when he was in Mobile. I don't really know how you get more rock solid than what he has been there. He's super experienced. He started 25 games when he was at Kansas State. And like you said, the mission is simply putting the best offensive line out there in front of CJ Stroud. So there you go.
The Bills at 60. I know I picked for them in the first round. CJ Allen helped the receivers just didn't work out for the Bills. I've said that I think they need to trade for one. I think I'm going to go back to defense again for them and take R. Mason Thomas and kind of put him in that role they had Joey Bosa in this year, where it's like, hey, we need a disruptor that can close out games for us when the other team's in a passing script. They're going to still need that guy. So let's go with the fall for R. Mason Thomas, which is because of the injuries he's had. And now that front seven gets a real nice infusion of talent. Once again, with the caveat, I think the Bills can trade or sign a receiver to help them in that area.
My boy, R. Mason Thomas. We love to see it. Blake Miller is still on the board. I think this is a very obvious pick now for the Rams. And to come away in this 2-round mock draft with Ty Simpson, Avion Terrell, and Blake Miller, I think those are 3 future starters for you. And so you feel pretty dang good about that. I thought about Blake Miller at 29, to be honest with you. I feel like he's going earlier than 61, but he's lasting until 61, and they haven't addressed offensive line yet. I think that Blake Miller is awesome. Anybody who's been listening to this podcast for the last couple of years knows that I've been pretty high on Blake Miller, and I've sort of seen that potential for him. I feel like he was even better this season than he ever has been. So I think he's putting his best foot forward going into the NFL. You don't worry about him when it comes to, length and overall size to play the position at the NFL level. It's just been about him playing a little bit stronger and getting a little bit stronger. But I think he has over the last couple of years, and I think that can continue. So there you go.
All right, I'm on the clock with the Denver Broncos again. Mm-hmm. They got Kenyon Sadiq in the first round, which was pretty sweet for them to have him fall. Now you look at, so they got a tight end. I mean, I think maybe they go the route they did last year where they sign a Dobbins-like player as that vet with RJ Harvey again and just hope that player stays healthy and Harvey takes the next step. So I'm not actually looking running back here. You know what's weird with the Broncos? As great as their defense was, it felt like there were times teams could run the ball on them. Where I'm wondering, is this a spot where you try to get some beef as a rotational defensive tackle up front? Or do we just continue to add juice to the offense and try to get a vertical stretch threat? But that's what they want Franklin to be. They have Mims. Right. I just feel like you're starting to get redundant with the various number 2s, 3s, and 4s.
Right. I feel you.
So I see Predator in the chat says linebacker's their biggest need and brings up Jake Golday, which is a really good recommendation if you're going to take linebacker here. Let's look at the linebacker board.
Yeah.
Because I know they have Singleton. Yeah, they're aging a little bit at linebacker, it feels like. And Golday's good value here. Mm-hmm. All right, I'll take Jake Golday. Help the middle of their defense. And this is right where he's gonna be in that 45 to 60-ish kind of range, I think, in this draft.
Pats are back on the clock since you guys hated the Keldrick Falk pick so much.
I'm going to do it again with LT Overton.
I'm going to do it again. I saw somebody say Romello Height. I think that he also makes sense for the Patriots.
Yeah, you want a small edge rusher? Here's your wish.
Right.
It's like 230.
Well, actually, if I'm thinking about any pass rusher here for them, I'm actually thinking about Derek Moore probably because he plays with a little bit more power than Romello Height does, but he can also play that stand-up outside linebacker edge rusher role.
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, somebody says Chris Johnson. Actually, man, they don't have a lot of CB depth.
Well, because Carlton Davis is getting older. Christian Gonzalez, they're going to extend because he's great, but he's the guy. Obviously. Marcus Jones is a good slot, but you're right. It is about depth, and both Gonzalez and Davis get hurt. They do, so it's important for sure. I still don't love their offensive line, but I don't know if you could fix that here.
I don't either, but Wilson played guard for them and can play center. So of the options that are there, I like center the most. But I don't really think that helps them. So you're saying safety or linebacker potentially needs. I feel like Hawkins played really well this year, and I think Craig Woodson played really well this year.
Yeah, I think Woodson was more up and down than I'd initially had realized. But he's a rookie. He's a rookie, and he wasn't drafted in the first 2 rounds. So they're just so well coached on both sides of the ball. Connor in the chat said Kyle Lewis.
Right, yeah. I don't know if Kyle Lewis is going this
They oddly, for a Super Bowl team, do have a lot of needs. Because they just got there. They're still tinkering that roster.
Can I see corners? I don't like Chris Johnson for this team because they play too much man. I mean, maybe Dalen Everett. Can I see linebackers? It's weird. Like, yeah, they have needs, but like a lot of the players that are here, I guess Josiah Trotter. But he's basically what Robert Spillane is.
Right.
Trotter's coverage grade was bad. He's an attacking linebacker. Can I see the overall board? I think I'm just going to pick like best player available at this point. Just give me Derek Moore, I guess. Just give me another defensive lineman. Just give me a better pass rusher. I just don't really like how this board fell. Like, you could pick Caleb Tiernan, but I don't know about Caleb. I have not watched his full eval yet, and I'm worried about the arm length with him.
Yeah, he'd be a guard for them, which they're going to have, I think, that problem eventually with Will Campbell, and they need a real tackle on both sides with Morgan Moses getting older.
I got to do a deep dive on obviously the Patriots like haven't gotten to this point of the offseason yet, so I haven't really done a deep dive into exactly what they need. But yeah, right. But Patriots, this is tricky. This is way more tricky than I thought it was going to be for the Patriots here at the back end of these rounds. So, all right, take us home. Seattle, 64.
All right, so Seattle at 64, to kind of go down the road you were just talking about, this is a team that I think I do like Caleb Tiernan for. I want to look at the interior offensive line and tackles because I know he's listed as a tackle for us, but I don't think he's a tackle at the next level. Yeah, this is somebody to me that can, they got Gray's able to play left guard, and he could be your future right guard here for Tiernan, who over summer I thought was a really pro-ready, calming presence on the offensive line that with the lack of arm length will be safer at guard at the next level. So Seattle went. I want to see who I know. I made I had a corner go to them. Colton Hood. So Colton Hood, Caleb Tiernan. I see some people in the chat shouting out edge. It's definitely a possibility. Although this board didn't break great for an edge group. I
feel like Derek Moore would have kind of been their type, but I just took him off the board.
That's exactly right. And then
maybe Jonathan Joseph, if they like that.
Maybe Jonathan Joseph. If Mike McDonald, who's just a mad scientist, thinks there's a package for Romello Height to play in, then that's possible too, because they do rotate so many of their fronts, their players in their fronts. But I'm going to stick with the pick and go with Tiernan.
Okay. All right. Tiernan. There we go, folks. 64 up, 64 down. The 2-round mock draft here, post-Senior Bowl edition, one of our favorite traditions around here on the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. We would love to hear from you guys, as we heard from the chat. The entire show, we would love to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comment section what you thought of your team and the draft that we had here, some of the thought processes as well. It's not just the pick, but the thought processes overall. You guys know your team is so well, and this is such a great community that we obviously love hearing from you guys and what you guys think these teams could be able to do. Best way to do that's in the comment section or on social media at NFLSC Show is the way to follow us on all of the socials, at Connor J. Rogers for him, at Tampa Bay Trey for me. Let us know in the NFLSC Discord as well. The link to the Discord will be in the description for the show, so you guys can join there. We got over 3,000 draft addicts in there talking all day, every day. Draft, team building, all of that fantastic stuff. Nonsense, truly, absolute nonsense from you guys in the very best way. For all the super chats, like we said, we knew this was going to be a long episode. It was over 2 hours long. We will get to your super chats. Tyler's going to save them for us, hopefully, and then we'll be able to do some sort of bonus content for you and be able to read these and make sure that we do one of those end of the week episodes for you guys. And so there's 70 super chats, and we just don't have time to read them today, but we will get to them. We really appreciate you guys giving us all the super chats, and so we promise that we will make it up to you and hopefully get to those with some other bonus content ideas. Connor, anything else before we
No, a lot of fun, man. Love beefing up the mock draft to 2 rounds, and we'll keep kind of growing them from here. And once again, a huge thank you to everybody that's always watching, subscribing, or those that watch for the first time. And please like and subscribe if you can to stick with us throughout the entire draft season, and we will get to those super chats, I promise, because we really do appreciate them. I'll be at Super Bowl next week, but I think we'll still be doing some content.
Somebody's talking about the hats, which I said would drop today, and they are not dropping today because the Mobile week is longer than I even thought that it was going to be, and travel getting to there from Shrine was a mess because of the winter storm. So I'm sorry, guys. The hats, I will. The problem is that I can't put up the hats and then not have a way to get them to you guys for like 3 weeks. Like that's you guys who are loyal addicts of the show and watch all the time, you might understand that, but there's a lot of people who might not be as loyal and might be looking to buy a hat that I can't be like, oh yeah, here, you purchased the hat, you'll get it in a month. I don't want to do that to people who obviously want to spend their hard-earned money to support the show. So I promise the hats are coming in the next couple of weeks. I'll replenish the store. You guys won't miss it. We got a ton of hats, and so hopefully it's much more of a situation where if you want one, you're going to be able to get one. But they are coming soon. I just haven't replenished them yet. Appreciate all you guys watching and listening to the show. Like Connor said, Super Bowl media week for him going across the country. So we'll figure out what our adjusted podcast plan is going to be for next week. But we love you guys. We appreciate you. For Tyler Cook, the chef, making it all possible behind the scenes, for Connor Rogers, I'm Trevor Sikkema saying thank you guys so much for watching another episode of the NFL Stock Exchange Podcast. We will see you guys next week.